The heroine of our story is a plain viscount's daughter. Her fiancé is a court alchemist, and the son of an earl. From the get-go, their marriage was arranged by their parents, but it allowed her be involved with the alchemy she had come to love so much. Like most maidens, she fully believed that at least they'd have a reasonable, happy newlywed life starting tomorrow. But of course fate has its own course. Because what do you mean she just chanced upon a cheating scene involving her fiancé and another girl? Before we get here, let's wind it back to the events prior to this scandalous scene. The day before the traitorous moment, in a workshop somewhere in the kingdom of Remeldia, our heroine had just finished prepping the herbs. By the way, this is the heroine of our story, Mia Hobril. She's the viscount's daughter who works as the Adventurer Guild's receptionist and an alchemist's assistant. She gives a long stretch looking at the work she's done for the day. Well, this is as much as she can do for today. Just then the door opens, and in comes Zeal Boitos, an alchemist who is also the son of an earl. Zeal asks if she was still working, to which Mia replies that she had just finished prepping the potion materials and that the potions will be complete once he finishes the final steps. Zeal frowns and tells her she works too slowly, and just like a useless manager, he tells her he's heading home first since he's got things to do. Did we forget to tell you he even orders her to clean everything up? Then there's Mia, who bows and commends him for his hard work. Is his hard work in the room with us? As soon as he's gone, Mia heaves a sigh of relief. Since she can't use magic well, Mia can't perform alchemy by herself. This is why she works as an assistant to Zeal, an alchemist, who is also her fiancé. It's pretty obvious that their engagement is a loveless political marriage. What's concerning is that lately Zeal just dumps work on her and leaves right away. Like, dude, this is your workshop, you know? Mia is not treated well, but still she tries to stay positive about this marriage. She's hoping that if she can be involved in major alchemy work, then she won't have any regrets. 8 years ago, Mia's meeting with Zeal made her discover the world of alchemy. Almost instantly, she also realized that it was something that she could never reach, no matter how hard she tried with her abilities. Even though that's the case, just seeing a potion created from the herbs she prepared is enough to make her incredibly happy. But what Mia is doing is pretty tiring though. On weekdays, she works the reception desk at the Adventurer Guild. On weekends, she helps at Zeal's workshop, working non-stop every day. This got her wishing that sometimes she'd like to take a break, but since the wedding with Zeal is soon, she just bears it all, thinking that she just needs to keep pushing herself until then. The next day, Mia heads straight to the guild for her receptionist duties. At least tomorrow, she's retiring from the guild for marriage. Finally, life will settle down, and she can focus on helping at the workshop. As for her work at the guild, she only took it because her father told her to. But now that she's quitting, she'll kinda miss it. Just then, Zeal appears, telling her that he has something important to discuss tonight, ordering her to tell him her ring size. Every receptionist present heard that squeal. Soon the girls gather around her, giving their best wishes and cheering her on. With everyone congratulating her like this, it made Mia think, this is it, huh? She's really getting married. Like all innocent maidens, she believed that everything would go well. Well, not quite. Later that night, Mia is still at the guild and works later than usual. She hurries to the back thinking she needs to hurry and meet with Zeal. But then she passed by the storage room, with the door slightly ajar. From her viewpoint, Mia noticed two people inside, quickly followed by lovey-dovey sounds. So of course she peeked inside. There she saw Zeal, and wait, isn't that girl her junior at the guild? Katarina. Shocked by this discovery, Mia bumps into a wooden pail, alerting the two to her presence. They both look to the door and see Mia standing there. But instead of feeling remorse, Zeal had the nerve to smirk at being caught. He told her already, didn't he? He has no time today. Still, Zeal mentions how he already made reservations at a restaurant to propose to Mia. To that, Katarina reminds Zeal that he's the one who said last night wasn't enough for him. Plus, he also told her that the wedding ring is a pre-made one too. While the two go on about their back and forth, Mia is too stunned to speak. Just what is this? How could they act so calm after being caught cheating? As if he read her mind, Zeal speaks out that Mia may think this is cheating, but no, this is acceptable. Because as far as he thinks, a proper noble has one or two partners for nighttime fun. For him, he only hid it because Mia was too serious. Your Honor, add victim blaming to the list of his crimes. Katarina supports his claim, even going as far as to say that Mia should be thankful that they kept it a secret. Cheating or not, whatever, it's not important. Zeal starts rummaging through his pocket and tells her that this should fix her mood. With that, he presents her with the ring. It's his very first gift to her, mind you. This makes it all the more memorable, right? After all, Zeal knows Mia loves him. But that was Mia's last straw. Instead of being happy like Zeal expects of her, Mia puts her foot down and tells him that she can't accept that. Finally, she speaks up. But before everything else, she clears one major thing up. She does not have even the slightest affection for Zeal. Let's get that one thing clear. Upon hearing that, Zeal scoffs because she's not really considering breaking off their engagement, is she? Right now, a lot of things are running through Mia's mind. For one, even when Zeal treated her coldly and dumped his family's work on her, she endured it for the sake of the Hobril family. But that ends today. Mia explicitly tells him that she can't overlook this. With that, she formally refuses this marriage. Zeal is in disbelief because that's ridiculous. She's marrying into an earl's family, for Pete's sake. He's the one making concessions, going off at her, but Mia is already walking away and she refuses to look back, and off she goes. She runs away, thinking about how marriages between nobles are politically important for both families. As for her, the reason she abandoned time with her fiancé is that he's goofing around with her junior. Just how pathetic is that? Finally, the tears start to come. All her life, Mia thought she'd been working hard, not shame her family. She trained her body to wear dresses well, learned manners to enter the earl's family, and even worked hard as his assistant. But in the end, none of her efforts were ever recognized. She was crying with her head hung low, so she didn't notice someone was actually in front of her until she bumped into them. Mia immediately apologizes to this person, but she stops midway when she hears his familiar voice. A tall, dark-haired man was standing before her, asking if something happened. It's Lord Crane Augusta. Oh no, why would someone from a marquis family be here at this hour? By the way, Crane is also a court alchemist. Anyway, he tries to casually brush off her breakdown, and thankfully, Crane actually has legit business here. There's a request he'd like Mia to check. With that, he motions to her to follow her, and if they could look it over somewhere calm. Mia follows along, wondering if he's actually concerned about her. They find a sofa where Mia checks a certain document, while Crane awaits her thoughts. While doing the work, Mia also thinks about how he's one of the only 10 court alchemists in this country. Even if she has handled his requests many times before, there is no way he would come this late unless there was a problem. And true enough, she's right. Mia immediately apologizes, explaining that the healing herbs he requested were actually delivered a week ago. This was their mistake. Crane heaves a sigh of relief upon knowing it's done. Like any good receptionist, Mia tells him that the guild can reimburse the fee and reorder if needed, but Crane says it's fine. Fortunately, the herbs don't spoil easily, and if they arrive safely, then that's more than enough for him. Besides, he shares how when Mia was the one handling things, nothing went wrong. But this new girl, Katarina, Crane says her work is concerning, to say the least. That much Mia can agree to. Just look at Mia's work. She marked client notified without even contacting them. She even keeps messing up Crane's name. Mia apologizes again for causing him trouble, but Crane assures her that she helped him many times already, so she shouldn't worry about it. Now that his issue is resolved, Crane smiles, and this time he offers to listen to her woes. He has time, you know? Mia feels touched because he's someone far above her, yet he's so genuinely kind. So Mia decides to share the cause of her distress, beginning with her engagement with Zeal. She reveals that there was no love between them, so she has no regrets about breaking it off, but she worked so hard to support him as an alchemist. And how did he repay her? He told her things like, "I'm compromising to marry you," and night flings are normal for nobles. The nerve of that guy. Not a single effort of hers was ever acknowledged by that guy. Crane feels bad for her, commenting that Zeal has a pretty twisted view of nobility. Well, he thinks there are some people like that, huh? Still, Mia continues that for something like this to happen right before the wedding, the reputation damage will be severe. They've already sent out the invitations too. She has doubts that Zeal will keep quiet about this. Since she worked at his workshop often, that would hurt their business. And they definitely spread a few bad rumors to cover up their family, which was rejected by the Hobrills. If that happens, it won't just affect marriage prospects, she might not even be able to work normally. Crane adds that even if Mia is completely right, which she is, Zeal of the Boitos family is someone the Alchemy Guild has been paying attention to. If they deem him valuable, Crane says they may even cover for him. It's just as Mia expected. A Viscount family like hers can't stand against an Earl's family. At this rate, she'll just end up hurting her family. Well, if it comes to that, she's prepared to leave the house and just live quietly alone in the countryside. Crane tells her, though, that there is one way to turn her future around. Eh? There is? Mia abruptly stands from her seat, eager to know what it is. She promises to do everything she can. Crane was surprised, then smiled. With that, he asks what she thinks about working as the assistant to a court alchemist. Crane is asking her to be a court alchemist assistant. She was too shocked by the question, so Crane continued, saying how it's not a bad offer. After all, he knows Mia worked at an alchemy shop, so she should be able to handle the tasks. Plus, if she accepts this, then all the bad rumors around her will go away. As soon as he said that, he stood, prompting Mia to ask in a hurry why he was asking her. Before he turns to go, he tells her that it's because he values her. Simple as that. He urges her to think about it until tomorrow, then makes his exit. Wait, tomorrow? Mia pinches herself to check if this is real. Okay, that hurts, it is real. Could someone like her who can't use magic really work as an assistant to a court alchemist? This is not a dream, right? Meanwhile, her perpetrators are actually having a nice dinner at a restaurant somewhere around town. Zeal swirls his glass of wine around, talking about how Mia really dared to stain his brilliant record. Katarina says it's because her senior is a pitiful person, so it can't be helped, even blaming it on how Mia has the heart of a childlike maiden. But now that the issue is over, Katarina says it was actually pretty easy to handle Mia. Didn't Zeal act just a little sweet toward her? And then suddenly she's ready to do his every bidding? He affirms that it's true, recalling how Mia did everything without a single complaint when he dumped all the chores from his shop on her. Now that he remembers it, he even tested once just how far she would go. Mia actually did even the potion prep without realizing it was an alchemist's job. This was Katarina's first time hearing this. It's no wonder her senior is useless on her days off, no? Zeal tells her that Mia's not all that bad though. Thanks to her, he got plenty of time to spend with Katarina. But what he can say about Mia is this: as a woman she's helpless but also convenient. Katarina laughs because at this point Mia is more like a slave rather than a fiancé to Zeal. The two had the audacity to talk loudly like this at a restaurant, ignoring the glares and frowns from everybody else eating there. Zeal already got it all figured out. Mia is only good at doing whatever she's ordered to. If rumors spread that she was dumped and her engagement broken off, then she'll end up in a hopeless situation. Katarina asks him if what he did is really okay. Because if Zeal has been dumping everything on Mia, then won't it affect his work? Ha! It's no problem at all. Zeal even claims that if he gets serious, he can make something even better. Upon hearing that, Katarina comments on how he makes it sound like he hasn't been serious until now. He tells her that's exactly how it is. A potion made with help from an amateur who can't even use alchemy shouldn't turn out well. But him, he's a genius. Even in that situation, he kept making high-quality potions, and now he's on the verge of being promoted to B-rank alchemist. Katarina is even more impressed. Who knows, maybe Zeal will become a court alchemist someday, no? The latter puffs his chest out, saying if it's not him, then who else? The audacity of this man is astounding. He just knows a shining future is guaranteed for him, and yet Mia dared to put a blemish on his record. Zeal vows to make sure that this woman who's been dragging him down will hit rock bottom. If that's the case, Katarina suggests he try applying to be a court alchemist's assistant. With his skills, she believes he could do it. He scoffs at the idea, saying he's not the kind of man who works under someone else. Besides, what's he supposed to learn from a bunch of old geezers anyway? But wasn't there a person who became the youngest court alchemist? At that, Crane frowns because he knows exactly who she's talking about. Crane Augusta. From what Katarina knows, Crane only wants assistance. He acknowledges himself, so he does everything alone. The mention of his name made Zeal remember memories from when he started working as an alchemist. Back then he got the chance to watch Crane work, and from the get-go he felt an overwhelming difference in their abilities. But that was then, and this is now. Zeal smirks because now he's confident that he has stepped into the realm of geniuses. He fully believes he's the only one who can drag that man down from his court alchemist seat. It's about time he shows that world what he can really do, or maybe what he can't do. The next day, Mia is up early and is already on her way to work. Last night was a lot, huh? He caught Zeal cheating last night, but what she didn't expect was to be invited as a court alchemist's assistant. Normally they'd choose a promising alchemist or their own disciple as their assistant. But then again, Crane is not the kind of person who'd joke about something like that. Anyway, Mia thinks there's no point in overthinking it. For now, she just needs to get through the day. As soon as she opens the door and sets foot into the guild, Mia is immediately surrounded by practically everyone. Her friend Alice, a fellow guild receptionist, even holds her hand firmly, asking if she wants to open up about something to them. But before our heroine could even speak, the others went ahead and told her that they would treat her to a good meal and dessert. Finally, Mia gets a hold of herself and asks why they're acting like this all of a sudden. Alice just tells her that it's fine and there's no need to push herself. Wait a minute, this just makes our heroine all the more confused. What does she do now? Do they know about her broken engagement? To that they said it would be a lot weirder if they didn't know about Mia's broken engagement, even though it just happened yesterday. Alice says the news of it has already spread throughout the whole town. Another receptionist says that because Mia is a well-liked person around here, word quickly got around. Plus, they also know that the ones at fault are that spoiled noble brat and that fake cutesy girl. Suddenly, some of the male receptionists add their 2 cents, urging her to toss a man who's all talk, while another even offers to teach her how to get compensation. One of the older ladies commends Mia for coming in today, saying they're happy to see her. With everyone expressing their concern over her, Mia just feels so touched. To be honest, she doesn't actually feel anything about the broken engagement with Zeal, but with everyone being so kind to her like this, she feels overwhelmed. She starts getting teary-eyed, assuring everyone that she's fine. Suddenly, the boys get even angrier on her behalf, because how dare that bastard make a woman cry? Even if Zeal is a noble, they vow to show him no mercy. Alice pulls her in for a hug, asking about work. She tells Mia that if our heroine wants to, they can go ask the guildmaster with her. Besides, without Mia there, noble requests are pretty scary. Now that Alice mentions it, Mia remembers how she was supposed to retire for her wedding today. If she begs the guildmaster, he might let her keep working here at the guild. Just then, Alice sees a familiar figure pass by the window, so she hurriedly pushes Mia to do morning prep first. They'll just talk about it later. To the latter's surprise, she's positioned in a different seat today. A moment later, Katarina's voice echoes from the other room. As it turns out, Alice was trying to shield Mia from seeing that wretched girl, and Mia couldn't be more thankful for her friend. Work at the guild resumed as usual, and they even switched Mia's seat so she doesn't have to face Katarina at all. On top of that, her junior got caught slacking off on noble requests, so now Katarina is most probably getting an earful from the guildmaster. Maybe she's getting a pay cut, no? Mia would have mulled over Katarina's situation more if she hadn't heard the chatter from the others around her. Some of the other receptionists were looking for Katarina, knowing she had stolen Mia's fiancé. While some others are talking about how Zeal made a move on Mia's junior, the idle chatter grows louder each time. Mia already expected this much, and frankly this also works in her favor for breaking off the engagement with Zeal. Still, it doesn't feel good to have nasty rumors going around. She decides she'll just bear it all until it settles down. She got pulled out of her negative thoughts at the sound of the wooden chest being placed in front of her. It's Crane. With a smile, he tells her that he has come to hear her answer from yesterday, and while they're at it, he also asks if she can handle a potion delivery for him. Mia is in disbelief. She didn't expect he was serious about that offer. Anyway, she starts processing the order and at the same time explicitly tells him that she's not an alchemist. To that, Crane replies that he's not inviting her without thinking it through, and he fully understands that, but he's asking her anyway. She's skeptical, especially of the idea that a mere receptionist could become a court alchemist's assistant. Oh, for the potions, she says she'll add a bonus to the purchase price for them. She tells him that his magic is more stable than most, so she'd like to use it for long-term adventurer contracts. Crane specializes in potion research. He makes potions under all sorts of conditions, so there are hits and misses among what gets brought in. Mia looks at the potions he made, thinking about how she was able to study alchemy through doing appraisals by helping Zeal. She always wondered what it takes to make a good potion, and there wasn't a day her heart didn't race thinking about it. Crane smiles, seeing how much Mia's face lights up just from looking at a potion. She really does love alchemy, huh? Mia is surprised to hear that. Is it really that obvious on her face? Still smiling, Crane says it's because anyone can tell just by looking. Plus, he knows she calmly handles detailed potion appraisals, which are difficult, which is what he values about her. She rebuts that claim, saying it's just an experience any guild worker could do. He can flatter her all he wants, but he won't get anything out of it. Anyway, she puts the potion back in the chest, saying she'll have to decline the purchase of his potion. Crane just smiles, because he knew those potions wouldn't pass. After all, he reused herbs after extracting the components. Mia scolds him, telling him not to bring stuff like that to the guild. She had to remind him that she's not an alchemist's examiner. That may be what she thinks, but for Crane, she's basically an examiner. These items he brought are actually called forged potions. It's illegal, but another staff member would normally buy them without noticing. Mia doesn't believe it. He can't just joke about stuff like that. Mia looks at the potion again. Sure, the color and magic reaction of this potion are normal, but it clearly doesn't contain any healing components. There's no way any staff would buy something that doesn't even fully pass a potion, right? Mia would be surprised to find out that this fools many. Even Crane admits he wouldn't know without the sorting label he put on it. Since she wouldn't believe it, Mia decides to test it out. She calls Alice and asks her friend what she thinks of the potion in her hand. The latter knows that the potion came from Crane's and decides to appraise it at Mia's request. So Alice checks the potion's color, magic, and impurities. Yep, this potion is a good one. Mia is shocked. Alice is a fellow guild worker who is already in the veteran range, and it looks like she's not lying about what she just said. But apart from being a fellow guild member, she's also Mia's most trusted friend. So in other words, this really is a forged potion. A potion that can fool a lot of people. Crane asks if she now understands the reason why he wants her as his assistant. Mia forgot about that for a moment, but then again this only proves that she was able to see through the forged potion. Maybe she could really be of help to Crane. After all, Alice's voice rings loud as she asks if Crane is asking Mia to be his assistant. The latter confirms that it is true. He's going to bring her to his shop and he intends to scout her as his assistant. Just then the chatter from a while ago has a new subject. This time it's about Mia as the assistant to Crane, the youngest court alchemist ever. Some of the ladies even say she hit the jackpot. Just like that, the pitiful looks everyone was throwing her way a while ago are suddenly gone. Then there's Alice, fussing about how her friend didn't tell her that she got a storybook offer like that. In Mia's defense, she thought it was a joke too, which is why she didn't bring it up. But maybe the reason Crane tried to make her decide something this big so quickly, and the reason he came to the guild 2 days in a row, was to overwrite the rumors about her. With that, Mia bows her head and accepts his offer, asking to let her work with him. The people around them cheered, while Crane asked in a hushed tone if he meddled around too much. Mia says he didn't, and as a matter of fact, she's grateful. But why would he go this far for her? Crane smiles and says that if he had to say why, it's because he was just repaying a debt, so she shouldn't worry about it. A debt? Before she could ask about it, Alice came running, holding a bouquet, and handed it to Mia. She thanks her friend for everything, and that all of them at the guild are praying for her success with her new job. Mia is surprised by the flowers. She didn't expect everyone to prepare a pretty bouquet for her. As the reality of everything finally sinks in, Mia starts to cry and promises to do her best. But then she turns into receptionist mode, informing Crane that trading illegal goods is a crime. To that, the latter says he would have stopped them if they'd tried to buy the forged potion, so it's all good, he won't sell it. Mia, being the goody two-shoes that she is, almost had a heart attack with that. Also, she warns him not to get too involved in women's drama since it gets pretty messy. This is our heroine, 18-year-old Mia Hobril. She has just retired from the Adventurer Guild and will now be working for the kingdom's own court alchemist as his assistant. Right now, she's standing right in front of the court alchemist's complex. Since it's attached to the royal castle, it's only natural for it to be so grand. In this kingdom, only 10 people are recognized as court alchemists, and each of them has their own dedicated workshop inside here. What really raised the status of alchemists was that the kingdom of Remeldia created the world's only court alchemist system. Barriers that keep monsters away from the cities, building materials strengthened to resist disasters, and better crop yields. Those are just a few of their doings. The system's only been around a few decades, but thanks to its achievements, the era itself is starting to change. Looking around, Mia can't help but murmur to herself how everyone looks so smart. But no sooner had she said that than she covered her mouth, catching herself using informal language. Now that she's here, she needs to start practicing speaking formally. She has been working at the Adventurer Guild for so long that she has gotten too used to that relaxed atmosphere. Now that she finally gets to work as an assistant to a court alchemist, she needs to pull herself together. Mia heads inside and sees there are court alchemist assistants everywhere, until she finally reaches the door to Crane's workshop. She knocks, letting him know she's arrived. Crane opens the door and welcomes her. They exchanged formalities before Crane urged her inside. As soon as she steps inside, Mia is welcomed by his spacious workshop. She didn't expect it to be so spacious. Crane says it's only natural, since the kingdom funds the place after all. The equipment is on a completely different level from a regular workshop. Mia looks curiously and notices that there are so many tools he has never seen before. Crane admits that there are plenty he has never used either, since different specialties use different tools. Mia is all fired up, promising to do her best even though it might take some time to get used to it all. Crane low-key tells her to tone down the intensity, saying she doesn't have to push herself that hard. After all, he wants her here as his advisor, encouraging her to speak up if she ever notices anything. This just leaves her confused because who has ever heard of a former Adventurer Guild receptionist as an advisor to a court alchemist? It feels strange, but she could indeed tell that the potion was illegal. She reminds him that she has only dabbled in alchemy and not to expect too much from her. Crane says it's fine, he won't fire her just because of an off-base opinion. He'd be more comfortable if she could just talk to him like she has always done. Mia is reluctant because somehow she feels like Crane isn't getting much out of this. To that, the latter says just having her look over his potions is valuable to him. As long as Mia goes about things as usual, that's more than enough for him. Well, if he insists that much, then Mia decides to take up his offer, even though she feels like he's being way too considerate. Anyway, treating his assistant like a noble lady is a bit weird, so for that she asks that he should at least change the way he addresses her and call her casually. To that, Crane easily agrees. Now that's settled, Mia asks where the other assistants are working since she doesn't see anyone else here. Crane tells her outright that he only has her, and he has no plans on hiring anyone else. Cue awkward silence. Wait, did Mia say something weird? Shouldn't a court alchemist's workshop be full of people? To that he explains that too many people just get in the way of his research. But doesn't that make him all alone? Crane counts him and Mia. There are two of them right here right now, right? Is he a lone genius or just bad with people? Mia thought to herself. Anyway, she tells him that if he doesn't hire someone with more experience, people around him might start resenting it. Crane's not too worried about it, saying that kind of thing will follow later if needed. Anyway, enough of the small stuff. Crane says it's time for her first job as his advisor. Right now he plans to make some potions for delivery. So if anything catches Mia's eye, she should speak up. He begins by lighting the stove and pouring some type of liquid into a container. Mia wonders if he's using the latest magic stove, then notes how he's heating the magic water. By the way, magic water is water rich in mana, almost essential for potion making, gathered in places where mana is abundant. Back to Crane, he's now grinding the prepped herbs. This simple act leaves Mia impressed. He has seen Zeal make potions plenty of times, but Lord Crane's movements are different. They just flow and are on a completely different level. This makes her wish she could do alchemy like that too. If she were chosen as an assistant, it's okay to dream a little, right? Just then Crane's voice sounded on her side, asking if she was really enjoying watching that much. She apologizes for distracting him, but as always, Crane just smiles and tells her it's fine. For Crane, he doesn't get looked at often, so he finds it quite unusual. Mia replies that she's just really happy to get to watch him work. Most people tend to admire the flashy magic used by mages, so compared to that, Crane says alchemy work is mostly plain and unremarkable. Mia agrees. Even though both professions use magic, mages and alchemists leave completely different impressions. Mages are common among knights who protect the kingdom and among adventurers who make a living by exterminating monsters. Their fighting with magic is impressive, and it's easy for people to see their achievements and respect them. Alchemy work, on the other hand, tends to be small and contained. It rarely happens in front of others in the first place. Mostly just the things made in workshops like potions circulate on the market. Alchemy itself has been a closed-off world. That may be so, but for Mia, even if the work is plain, alchemy is indispensable. Knights and adventurers fighting on the front lines rely on those potions to keep fighting. Because of her engagement to Zeal, she remembers how she came into contact with alchemy. At the Adventurer Guild, she felt firsthand how important potions are, handing a recovery potion to an injured adventurer back then. This is why she admires alchemy. Besides, she can't handle magic very well, but there are parts of alchemy she can help with, so she ends up admiring it even more. By working as an alchemist's assistant, she was fooling him about how she really felt. People who can't use magic can't do alchemy either, she says. Crane quickly corrects her, that's not true. People often misunderstand it, but magic and alchemy are different things. He goes on and cites an example, asking if she has ever heard of a top-class mage who's also great at alchemy. Mia admits that she hasn't. In fact, Zeal never once said anything like that to her. Continuing with his story, not being able to use magic doesn't automatically mean she can't use alchemy. Wait, but don't they both use their own magic? Crane explains that they both deal with mana, but how you control and sense mana in its very nature. What's required differs between magic and alchemy. Crane, for one, can hardly use the kind of magic mages do. Upon hearing that, a thought hit her. Could she be able to do alchemy then? Crane continues his explanation. In the first place, alchemy is magic that alters materials using mana, and it's broadly divided into three forms. There's mixing, which is making potions and medicines, shaping, which is altering or transforming minerals and objects, and enchanting, which is granting magical power to things. Even among alchemists, differences in mana type change what they're good at. It demands delicate mana control and a lot of patience. Now that Mia thinks about it, Zeal mostly did mixing for potions. So that was his specialty skill. Crane says if Mia uses the kind of alchemy that suits her own talents, and when she unfolds this interference field where the alchemical effect happens, then the difficulty changes. According to him, there's no need to overcomplicate alchemy, she just needs to expand a mixing field like so and blend in her own mana, and she can trigger an alchemical reaction. Looking at Crane's woe, she sees how it makes a beautiful gradient slowly shifting to blue. Wow, so this is a court alchemist's mixing skill. After he's done, he asks if anything bothered her. Mia says there isn't. She is just surprised at how smooth his work was, since Zeal always struggled with that part. Crane frowns because did he hear that right? A C-rank alchemist struggled? He then asks her if she has ever seen any other alchemist work. Mia answers that Zeal is the only one she has seen. Crane ponders for a bit, since mixing is pretty basic for an alchemist. If it's true, then it really must be what he suspected. Alright, Crane thinks this is a good stopping point. This time he asks Mia if she wants to try making a potion herself. Can Mia really do that? Since she'll be his assistant, it won't hurt to experience the process, right? Plus, there's something he'd like to make clear, leaving her confused. He tells her not to worry about it. He'll know as soon as she makes a potion. First, he wants to know how much of the process she was actually handling. For now, he urges her to do everything she can. Mia gets dressed and does as Crane suggests. First, she starts prepping the herbs. To do so, she will gently stroke the leaves clean and scrub the roots thoroughly. Then she carefully wipes off any excess water. Crane is impressed, seeing how she's quite used to this. Mia takes that as a compliment, saying this is nothing much for her. Next, she will blend her mana into the herbs. For an alchemical reaction, one needs to mix the caster's mana and the herb's mana well, or it won't trigger easily. This is why she thought that if she worked hard on this step, she could reduce Zeal's burden, especially since it's a process she refined through trial and error. Et voila! The herbs look better than ever. But despite that, Crane seems to look a little worried, prompting Mia to ask if there was something wrong. The latter replies that if anything, the problem is that there's not a problem with her process so far. He does not doubt that her work so far is well done. That's all the positive cue Mia needs to proceed with her work. Up next, she warms the magic water to about body temperature as she starts mixing the herbs. If she presses too hard, she'll break the mana she poured into it, so she grinds them gently at a steady rhythm. After that, she's finally done with the appropriate texture. She turns to Crane, telling him that everything is ready. Crane, on the other hand, is making quite the face and backing away. Mia notices this, but he tells her it's just her imagination. Continuing with the potion, Crane instructs her to put the crushed herbs and magic water into the potion, then pour in her mana, fusing all the mana. At that, Mia stops midway since that's the most important part, and he's being super vague. Well, Crane has no better way to put it. He tells her that if she can unfold a mixing field with her skill, the potion will form on its own. Well, that's a little too much to spring on a beginner like her. At that, Crane moves closer and holds the flask with her, saying he'll help her with expanding the field. A magic circle appeared at the bottom of the flask, with Crane saying he's going to channel his mana into it. Mia is a little too overwhelmed since she has never done anything like this. It's embarrassing. But she sees how Crane's mana is interacting with the ingredients. It's like his mana is guiding everything along. She has to follow it. Okay, so Mia sends her mana through as well. Now the mana starts blending, swirling inside the flask, and then suddenly it changes colors. The mana's sudden reaction caught Mia by surprise, and to that, Crane urges her to look at the potion she just made. Mia raises the flask high in the air. She did it. She finally made her very own potion. She finally did it. Mia made a potion. Holding it preciously, Crane tells her that if she can make potions of this level, then she can work as an alchemist. Can she really become an alchemist? Mia is still in disbelief upon hearing that. Crane says it's possible, or rather it's more accurate to say she's been doing an alchemist's work for a while now. Just delivering this potion would be enough to fulfill a C-rank request. But Mia's mind is racing with other thoughts right now. She's still in disbelief because she never thought she could actually become the alchemist she has always dreamed of. After a moment she snaps back to reality and turns to Crane asking him what he was saying before. What he said was quite a lot, so yeah, he just replied with never mind. Anyway, Crane tells her that she could already live as an alchemist, but she'll start as an apprentice. It would be a waste to keep her tied down as just an assistant when she can appraise potions that well. At this point Mia is thanking every god and saint in existence. Still, her employer warns her that he won't go easy on her. When it comes to alchemy, he plans to be strict. She encourages him to do so, promising to do anything just to achieve her goal. Well, since she wants it that much, Crane is curious if there's anything she wants to make. Upon hearing that question, a lot of things start flooding Mia's mind. Rings and necklaces made from ore, stylish lamps and magical stoves, and oh, maybe even a flying carpet. After pondering over it, she asks if she could have some time to sort out her feelings first. Well, based on her prolonged silence, Crane understands that she has a lot that she wants to make. First, he suggests she pick one thing she wants to try making before anything else. Also, she needs to get used to doing alchemy itself. This won't go on her official record, but he'll pass her some of his personal requests to work on alongside. He closes his notes saying this is enough training for an apprentice alchemist for now. There are plenty of things he'd also like for her to do, like cleaning the workshop, managing herb stock, and checking the equipment, among many things. Mia shares how she did all of that when she was working under Zeal, so it's safe to say she has a general idea of how it goes. Additionally, he also informs her that they have a materials inventory list, and asks that she tell him whenever they're running low on stock. At that, Mia asks how he usually procures herbs, and Crane replies that he buys them from a shop he has known for a long time. Honestly speaking, he'd like to entrust the shopping to someone with her eye for quality, but the town is extremely stubborn. According to Craig, if the shop owner doesn't like a customer, she kicks them out, and if you show weakness, she overcharges. That old hag. So with that said, if Crane doesn't show his face, she probably won't sell Mia anything. Wait a minute, did he say a grumpy old lady who sells herbs? Mia thinks for a bit. In this huge capital, there's only one person who fits that profile. While Craig continues to get stressed out just by talking about that old hag, Mia asks if he's referring to Lady Babberil. He's gotta be referring to her, right? The wholesale shop in the west of the capital that deals in alchemy materials, right? Our heroine shares how Lady Babberil's homemade mugwort rice cakes, which she sometimes gives as treats, are quite delicious. Hold up, now it's Crane's turn to ask her in disbelief. She got rice cakes from that old hag? Anyway, back when she was still working as Zeal's assistant, Mia always went to Lady Babberil's shop for supplies. They've known each other for years, so she thinks there won't be any issue with her buying on Crane's behalf. The court alchemist has been buying from the old lady for a long time now, but he has never gotten any rice cakes from her. Anyway, if Mia's on good terms with Lady Babberil, then he'll leave the herb stock management entirely to her. Still, he warns her to be careful about getting overcharged. Mia keeps it to herself, but she finds it a little funny that even Crane was almost overcharged by the old lady. Since that's settled, Crane also hands her the official contract as his assistant. Since he doesn't have many people in the workshop, he plans to submit a higher salary request to the kingdom. Mia, on the other hand, is a little dumbstruck. Is he sure he didn't put an extra digit on the salary? Crane's pretty sure, based on what he wrote, that she should be getting at least half of what's written on the paper, given that she worked as an assistant to the Boitos family. Actually, she tells him that she was unpaid, which made Crane chuckle. He didn't know she liked to make jokes. An alchemist's assistant has a huge impact on their creations. They're essential to an alchemist. So for a rapidly growing house like the Boitos, they'd be even less willing to let go of their assistant, which means the pay would be high and, well, Crane trails off, remembering that here is Mia, an assistant with no lingering attachment, a cheated-on fiancé, unpaid and with no days off. After a beat, even he thinks that's too much for the Boitos. That's not how you treat a worker. Mia could not bear to hear of any of her stripped privileges. For all she knew, she worked under the assumption that she would marry into the Boitos family, so she wasn't in any position to complain. Crane can only cover his mouth, saying how he's afraid to hear more of her horrid experience. Mia, on the other hand, is scared because she's being treated too well. To that, he assures her that this is just a matter of normal rights. Anyway, back to the documents. He encouraged her to inform him if she finds any issues with them, since it is a contract with the kingdom after all. Mia continues reading, noting how she actually has days off, paid leave, and even injury compensation. Well, there's absolutely no reason to refuse, and he proceeds to sign. This much is expected of a contract with the kingdom after all. Now that they're talking, Crane remembers another thing, her broken engagement. He doesn't mean to be too blunt, but he asks how the procedures for breaking off her engagement are going. Mia replies that she was just about to start them, as she plans to gather the paperwork today. She hasn't even told her father yet, actually. At that, Crane's eyes widen because what do you mean she hasn't told the Viscount Hobril yet? But then again, he understands that it might be hard to bring up considering that her father is the former vice-commander of the Royal Knights, aka the Demon God. So her father's reputation precedes him, no? Mia shares that her father is currently away from home for night training. If she remembers correctly, he's a training instructor for the Knights. But to be honest, that's not the only reason she hasn't told her father yet. She never said it out loud for Crane to hear, but actually Mia's father doesn't even call her by her name. Later that night, back at the Hobril residence, Mia was in her room when one of the maids informed her that her father was calling for her. She was just eyeing the engagement annulment request when she stood and headed to her father's room. She's pretty sure that rumors of her cheating must have spread already, so she believes that must be the reason why she's being summoned now. She can't even remember the last time she spoke with her father. She recalls her mother getting sick and passing away while her brother joined the Knights shortly after. Eventually, they stopped interacting as a family. With what happened this time, he's probably furious, given how Mia's father values their house's pride and honor. She finally reached the room and entered with her head lowered and eyes cast down. Her father, a stern man, only told her to sit as he proceeded to tell her he wanted to ask something. His sharp gaze only makes Mia even more scared, knowing how declaring the engagement annulled without consulting her father might have been a bit much. The older man presents some papers before her, and she is shocked. Why, it's the annulment papers, and they're already signed by the Boitos family. She's shocked to discover that Zeal gave them to her father first, but now that she thinks about it, he was really hell-bent on branding her as the lady discarded by the Boitos house. She can't believe he actually filed the annulment himself, even though he's the one who cheated. While thinking of all this, she feels a heavy gaze and remembers her father is actually waiting for her to answer. Well, there's no way around this, so Mia decides to tell him the truth. She details how the other day she walked in on Zeal cheating at the Adventurer Guild and how he didn't show a single sign of remorse. With that, she told Zeal that she was breaking off the engagement. Mia braces herself for whatever harsh words her father would hurl at her, but to her surprise, his only response to all that was, "I understand." The older man looks over at the paper, while Mia is still taken aback by his father's reaction. This time she stands and bows her head, apologizing for tarnishing the Hobril name. His father replies with a question instead, asking how she tarnished it. Mia stutters for a bit, explaining how rumors that she was cheated on were already spreading. With that said, won't the Viscount house look bad? If that's how she sees it, her father puts it in another perspective, asking her if she did something wrong or committed any act that would disgrace the Viscount house. Obviously Mia answers no, and that's exactly her father's point. The Hobril house's honor was harmed, but not by Mia, so she has no reason to apologize. If anything, he should be the one apologizing for arranging that engagement. With that, he stands from his seat and apologizes to Mia with his head bowed. Her father recalls how Earl Boitos's potions saved his life many times back when he was still at the battlefield, so when the proposal came, he couldn't bring himself to refuse it. Mia assures her father that she's fine and that she also bears some fault for not being able to hold her fiancé's heart. But Viscount Hobril will hear none of it. He has been watching over her all this time and he could tell at least that much. He said that if Mia had shown even the slightest sign of breaking, he was prepared to pay compensation and shove the annulment request form to the Boitos family. There wasn't a day that he didn't struggle with whether he should live as a father or as a noble. Looking at the annulment request form her father pulled out of his drawers, they do look old. This just means that her father has been holding on to it all this time. As it turns out, Viscount Hobril was worried about her in his own way. She feels touched and thanks him. In any case, he suggests they will redo the paperwork since the Boitos family documents did not mention any compensation. Huh? There aren't? That shouldn't be possible. Unless, of course, Zeal doesn't think he did anything wrong. It's probably to better show off that he threw her away. Mia tells her father that she's fine with leaving the documents as they are, but the thought alone sounds preposterous to her old man. Just what is she talking about? If they don't demand compensation, it's like they're admitting that they're the ones at fault. To that, Mia gives him a little life update. So after all is said, Viscount Hobril is even more shocked to find out that his daughter is now assistant to a court alchemist. And not just any court alchemist, but the Marquis's son, Crane Augusta. He asks her how that happened and knows that the latter is the genius who broke the record for the youngest court alchemist. Mia has no idea either. In fact, she was just living normally. Anyway, she goes on and tells her father that she already signed the contract, so she doesn't want any more trouble over the annulment. Her father ponders for a bit since he doesn't know Crane's intentions, but he must have his reasons. Still, the Viscount can vouch for him, he's not a bad man, and above all, he's sharp. Mia adds how Crane helped her by overriding the bad rumors about her with good ones, so her honor is already protected. If this is Mia's decision, then her father accepts it as well. As much as it angers him about the compensation, they'll just cut ties with the Boitos family here and now. With that, he starts writing a letter so he can contact everyone involved. While her father does this, Mia decides to ask her a question that's been bugging her for the longest time. Did his father not actually dislike her? She mentions that he never calls her by her name. To that, the Viscount shamefully admits that he's bad at dealing with women, even his own daughter. He has no idea how he's supposed to address Mia. To that she answers that using her name is just fine, but again he stresses that if he could he would have called her as such by now. Anyway, he urges her to hurry along since she's interrupting his work. Mia rises from her seat, and just when she was about to exit her father's chambers, she cast him another look. She finally understands him, he was just clumsy. Still, she thanks her father, hoping that from now on, little by little, they can grow closer again like they used to. At the Adventurers Guild, everyone's staring as Zeal walks in by himself. The others know him, isn't he that guy from the Boitos family? The so-called heir who fell from grace because he just plays around? It's no wonder the Hobril family dumped him. Zeal hears it all but goes straight to the concierge, presenting his name and ID along with the potion. He's here to submit his potion for the B-rank alchemist promotion exam. The receptionist takes his card and gives him a look. So he's that Zeal, huh? When he heard that, Zeal clapped back if she had a problem with that, so the receptionist caught herself in time. He slams his fist on the table, ordering her to hurry up and process it since he doesn't have all day. He's pretty annoyed since everyone keeps looking down on him. He made sure that the rumors stated that Mia was the one at fault, so why is he the one being treated like a villain? Just then, an older man walks in, telling Zeal how he heard that the latter broke off his engagement and asking if he's handling that all right. Oh, it's the Alchemist Guild's guildmaster. This is the first time the guildmaster has spoken to him. But wait, for the guildmaster to talk to him directly, this just proves what he has known all along. Zeal believes they hold him in special regard. Being so full of himself, Zeal brushes off those baseless rumors. Sure, they're annoying, but he has no problem with them since he's always calm after all. The older man replies that he's not worried about him. He's asking if Zeal's skill in alchemy has declined. Huh, Zeal's not quite catching it. What does the guildmaster mean by that? So the older man details how Zeal's fiancé has been his assistant ever since he started as an alchemist, correct? The question is, can he still do alchemy without her help? Okay, that struck a nerve in Zeal. Just what is this old man talking about? He really believes Mia has nothing to do with his alchemy. So Zeal answers the guildmaster that his ex-fiancée just helped with chores. Hasn't the guildmaster seen the potions he delivered? Every one of them is his own skill. Or so he claims. To that, the guildmaster only tells him that confidence is good, but overconfidence is not. Furthermore, alchemy is unforgiving. Just changing assistants can affect the outcome, especially when the work uses mana. Wait, hold up. Is this old man saying that his quality of work will drop if Zeal does everything by himself? Obviously, it will get even better. The guildmaster is paying attention to him right now, so this is the biggest chance of Zeal's life. He confidently proclaims that his power is beyond this. Besides, if today weren't the final day for exam submissions, Zeal could have even submitted an even better potion. The guildmaster only frowns, asking if he's already making excuses at such an early stage. But no, according to this overconfident sleaze, he's just stating facts, even promising to shock him with what he can do by the next delivery. With that, Zeal exits the guild while the guildmaster looks at his submitted potion with scrutiny. The older man just tells himself that he hopes that he's not shocked in the other sense. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the city, our heroine is out and about. She's glad that her father agrees to the annulment, so now she just needs to deliver the copy of the paperwork to the Boitos house, and this whole matter will be over. She walks over to Zeal's place, thinking that if she hands it to a servant, then she won't have to see his face. But fate has a different thing in store for her because not a moment later, she sees Zeal and Katarina walking out of the mansion together. So they're not just seeing each other late at night, they're basically living together. Mia quickly does a 180-degree turn, but it's too late. Zeal already saw her and asks if she needs something. Before she could even answer, he started rambling about how it's too late to come crying to him right now and that there's no place for her there anymore. Katarina jumps in and says she has already claimed the spot next to Zeal. Our heroine is speechless at the two's overconfidence. At this point, what can she even say? She's not hung up on him, and she doesn't envy them at all. In the end, she replies that there's no need to worry about her and that she's glad to see the two look so happy together. Zeal calls bull on what she just said. He knows she's pretty bitter that she spread that embarrassing lie. Lie? Wait, what lie? He's talking about the lie that Mia became Crane, the court alchemist's assistant. Zeal could only laugh at how even a kid could tell that one's a lie. Katarina laughs along with him. She thinks that lie is way too embarrassing for Mia. If she was going to lie, then she might as well make it a better one. Our heroine remains quiet because it's not a lie, it's literally the truth. Wait a minute, now that Mia remembers, Katarina was not at the guild when our heroine was scouted. Oh right, Katarina was getting scolded by the guildmaster in another room because of the noble request she handled sloppily. Mia clears it up, telling them both that it's not a lie. From now on she'll be working as Crane's assistant and she'll also be working as an apprentice alchemist. Despite her saying the truth, Zeal refuses to believe it. He thinks his ex-fiancée really became a pathetic woman. Was she so desperate for him to look at her that she was going around spreading these lies? Wow, this guy is really full of himself, huh? Katarina tells him then that Mia has always been pathetic from the start, and Zeal easily agrees. He thinks that if Mia could face reality, then she wouldn't have done something as stupid as breaking off their engagement. Guys, she's right there, okay? The topic of their conversation, on the other hand, thinks that the ones who need to face reality are the ones who cheated, not her. Zeal takes a step toward Mia and tells her to clean her ears and listen carefully. A court alchemist is a position only elites like him get. There was a pregnant pause before Mia brushed her hand off. For someone dedicated to nightlife, she thinks that will be a fit too difficult for him. Zeal isn't done bragging because for all he knows, Mia just wants to see him get serious with alchemy. At that, she stops and recalls how there's no way Zeal hasn't been serious. She has always seen him struggling so desperately with mixing. And after seeing Crane's alchemy, it's obvious to her that the difference in their skills is so clear, it's like they're on different planes. Not just their skill, even their attitude toward alchemy is too different. Zeal is not fit to be a court alchemist. And Mia honestly doesn't know where all that confidence comes from. Zeal had the balls to tell Mia how she's been dragging him down this whole time and that he'll prove it with his real alchemy. Katarina laughs along. Even if Mia apologizes now, it will be too late since Zeal will become a court alchemist in no time. When that happens, the one next to him will be Katarina. This is all a waste of time. Mia will just finish what she came here to do and cut ties. With that, she hands him their copy of the annulment papers. This is the reason why she came to the Boido's house today, since the Hobril house has officially accepted the annulment. As soon as he sees the documents, a scowl paints Zeal's face. He snatches the documents from her hand. Yeah, sure. She should enjoy her composure while she still can because starting today, Zeal will really start getting serious about alchemy. Even Katarina shares his sour mood because all of a sudden she's barking at Mia not to get jealous just because she couldn't become a court alchemist's assistant. At this point, Mia doesn't bother correcting her even though it's the truth. With that, the two walk away since they don't want to waste time on some pathetic woman. Mia, as the poster girl of beauty and grace, still bows her head to them as a courtesy. But with this, her ties with Zeal and Katarina are cut for good. There's no need to get angry over them, right? Well, it turns out she has one more reason to get angry with them. Because when the two are merely a few feet ahead, Katarina says getting rid of all the herbs Mia left behind was the right call. She goes on to say how herbs prepped by a delusional senior like her could never make good potions. Huh? Wait, did Zeal really throw away the herbs she left there? No way. They're the ones she prepped for that big night order, those precious stock herbs? Zeal makes his living off potions and yet he doesn't appreciate herbs at all. Mia calls out to them. She didn't even get to finish saying how throwing away the herbs is going too far. As it turns out, the two were really deliberately riling up our poor heroine. Still, she's upset since she gave up her days off and carefully prepped those herbs, only for these two to throw them away. But this really does cleanly cut their ties. Instead of moping around, Mia thinks she needs to switch gears and go buy herbs from Lady Babberel's. So she makes her way to Lady's place. But to her annoyance, just why is this sleazebag here? At least she gets to witness the two of them get kicked out by the old lady. Zeal and Katarina came out running, with Zeal even cursing the old woman and calling her an old hag. The elderly woman came running after them, saying she'd rather deal with stink bugs than brats like them. She hurls a round object their way and it explodes, enveloping the two in a mysterious fume. A second later, you could hear them crying out about how much it stinks. Oh, it's a special handmade item by Lady Babberel, the stench cluster bomb. It's packed with a thick stink bug smell that clings to your nose. Rumor has it the stench is so bad it's killed people. Lady Babberel's still at them, warning them that they'll get another one if they don't get lost. And that was enough motivation to get the two running away from her. Mia carefully approaches the older lady, greeting her with a good morning when the latter suddenly snaps at her. She was ready to tell Mia off, but as soon as she saw that it was our heroine, Lady became docile. She apologizes for snapping like that since she had some snot-nosed brats moments ago, then heads back inside her shop. Mia says it's no big deal, she saw everything from start to finish. In her mind, maybe that was karma catching up to both Zeal and Katarina, huh? As the elder lady settles behind the counter, she laments how the guy from before is a C-rank alchemist. Seriously, what has the world come to? Anyway, she turns her attention back to Mia, asking her what she wants. If it's her, Lady will give it at a special price. Lady can't believe that someone like that is a C-rank alchemist, commenting on how the guild alchemist sure has fallen, no? Mia thinks so too, right? But our heroine only laughs in reply. To recap, that whole fiasco earlier involving the eccentric lady and the conceited Zeal was quite the show. Obviously, their compatibility is the absolute worst. Mia even thinks the two started bickering right off the bat. Then there's Katarina, who looks as if she were about to cry. As usual, Mia was pondering all this in her head, which tends to daze her out. Lady had to ask if there was something wrong, forcing our heroine to snap back to reality. Now she also needs to be more careful because if careless words start another weird rumor, then she might really damage the Hobril family's reputation for real this time. She may be used to Lady Babberel's eccentricity, but Mia makes a mental note to make sure the elder lady doesn't twist her words. Anyway, Lady smiles at her, asking Mia what she's shopping for today. The latter replies that she's here to buy potion ingredients since she's low on herbs. Oh? Lady remembers her buying them just the other day, so did Mia mess up a batch? Ugh, how can Mia answer this? She can't exactly say that the person who got kicked out earlier threw everything away. Instead, she tells the elderly lady that her workplace changed. She's working as Crane's assistant now. Crane? Lady doesn't remember who that is. She's pretty terrible at remembering names. Mia tells her his name, Crane Augusta, a court alchemist. Oh, that rings a bell. Lady remembers him as the Augusta family's son. Lady finally has a name attached to his face, though this also made Mia realize that the elderly woman never called her by her name either. Well, names don't matter for Lady anyway. What matters is whether life is interesting. Mia had to gently remind her that she's not getting any younger, so she shouldn't be sticking her nose into weird things, but bah, Lady doesn't care, she's still young at 92, okay? Looking at her like this, Mia can't help but feel a little affinity toward Lady. Sure, many people may say she's eccentric, but to her she's just a lively old grandma. Plus, Lady also never judges people by status or rank, which is so like her. Back to business. Mia informs the older woman that she also came to deliver the potion Crane asked for. Upon seeing them, Lady's mood lit up. She's been waiting for these. This prompts Mia to ask if she was feeling unwell, to which Lady says it's just that her eyesight is getting worse, no biggie. She uncorks one potion and drinks it, all while Mia lectures her to take better care of her body. As usual, Lady is not one to hear all that rambling, reminding the younger woman that she'll also feel this someday. After downing the bottle, Lady complains how it tastes awful as ever. She turns to Mia, telling her that she should tell Crane to make the potion better next time. Boy, she really is gutsy, no? So what now? After treating Lady like an old lady a moment ago, now Mia is treating her like a child. Our heroine corrects her, saying she's been treating Lady like an old woman all this time. But enough of that, Mia wants to see the goods. They walk further into the shop and as expected, Lady has a huge selection. There are a lot of rare items on top of the fresh herbs. It's no wonder her store is favored by the court alchemists. Mia stands in silence for a bit, savoring the smell of the wood and herbs. She thinks this place would also be a great little hidden healing shop. Just then she feels something on her side. When she opens her eyes, she sees Lady staring at her. It's hard to keep the peaceful vibes with Lady constantly watching her. Of course, she's a businesswoman after all. Lady asks Mia if she sees anything interesting, so our heroine tells the former to put away the herbs in her hand. Lady reasons that she saved this batch just for Mia. Well, too bad for her. Mia knows the elder woman is using one of her scam techniques, forced leftover stock disposal. So Mia cleverly answers that she'll buy it if it's dirt cheap, making the old lady click her tongue in annoyance. She really can't get past anything with Mia's perceptive eyes, no? And yes, Lady mixed bad herbs into a bundle of good ones, which is another of her scam techniques. Forced bundle sale. But what the old lady said next caught Mia by surprise. Apparently, word on the street is that a noble was dumped right before his wedding for cheating. Mia freezes on the spot as soon as she hears Lady say this. Again, our heroine maintains her composure, noting how the old woman sure does know her noble gossip around the block, eh? Well, why wouldn't she? For Lady, it sounds pretty interesting. A man who cheats and gets dumped by his fiancé? That's pretty pathetic. Still, Mia is surprised at how much the situation flipped from the beginning. Maybe it's also thanks to the rumors that spread about her becoming a court alchemist's assistant, no? Lady offers her another bundle, but Mia politely declines, maintaining their conversation about the cheating noble. So the woman dumped him, yeah? Lady says that's what makes it interesting. A nobleman being dumped by a woman is a rare sight. She would have loved to see his face at least once. Gah, if only Lady knew he was the sleazebag from earlier, no? Mia is thankful for her for dealing with him though. This time it was Mia who shared an interesting piece of information about the gossip. From what she heard, the woman who was cheated on waived the compensation fee, and in exchange she quickly finalized the annulment. Lady was walking ahead of our heroine, surprised that she was quick with information about this issue. To that, Mia claims she heard it just this morning, so the news is piping hot. Additionally, she also shared with Lady that the woman said she's cutting ties completely with the nobleman and won't interact with him anymore. To that, Lady said the woman should crush him until he falls from grace. Bah, kids, these days don't finish the job. To that, Mia answers that as long as the woman is happy, that's what matters, right? She's pretty sure that woman is pretty happy right now about her annulment. Just then, Mia notices at the corner a basket full of magic ore. She frantically looks at Lady about the items, but the older woman is not too bothered about it. So what? Their magic ore is pretty common material in alchemy, right? Mia is almost distressed because look at the quality of these ores. High-quality ones with this much magic power almost never show up, and yet Lady just tossed them in a basket at the normal price. Our heroine starts mumbling about how good ones usually sell for high prices since the quality varies a lot, making her think that Lady should overcharge for these instead, and yet the older woman always sells the expensive ones normally. That's when Lady tells her that she really has a good idea. The older woman says being able to judge a magic power at a glance is pretty rare. Crane just said something similar to her a while ago, but for all Mia thought, it was just practice. She didn't know it was that unusual. Speaking of which, Crane told her to think of something she wants to make. Since she found such good ore, maybe she should make something with this, no? That's it. Mia has decided she wants the first thing she makes to be a gift for Alice, maybe a necklace that suits her. Lady approaches her again asking what she's so worried about and hands her a good ore. Mia quickly shoots her down asking not to be handed the cheap stuff. Besides, she's the one paying for this since it will be for personal use. With that said, Mia wants to check everything carefully. Lady's eyebrows raise, questioning why Mia is paying for this. Court alchemist errands should let her spend freely using state funds, so why should Mia pay anything? To that, the latter counters that she only mentioned she was Crane's assistant, but now she's also working under him as an apprentice alchemist. Lady starts trembling before giving Mia the brightest smile. Can you believe it? Lady Babaril is actually laughing because finally Mia is an alchemist. That took her long enough. But our heroine is apprehensive as ever, eyes narrowed as she asks if it's really that funny. Plus, she never said she wanted to become an alchemist in the first place. To that, Lady tells her that she should look at her own face sometimes. Not noticing how it lights up from any alchemy-related stuff would be far stranger. Wait a minute, Crane told her that too, so has she been grinning while packing ingredients? Mia flushes, a bit embarrassed because she's like a kid buying snacks. Lady hands her the magic ore, it's her reward for the interesting story. Moreover, she tells Mia to take whatever she wants. Huh? Is this a new scam? Lady tells her that she's serious, but then again, didn't Mia's father teach her to accept people's kindness? She starts throwing the high-quality magic ores at our heroine, enough to scare Mia. Lady tells her that one invests early in anything that looks interesting and shares how Mia is just like her when she was young. With that, Lady gives her a tip. First, learn the shaping skill so she can control minerals freely. Ultimately, the older lady made her take the whole basket. Mia is so flabbergasted that she could only ask if something good happened to the older woman, to which the latter laughs because sometimes things like this happen. The first thing Crane does as soon as she walks into his workshop is to ask how badly she was scammed. Why? Because Mia came back with a basket full of high-quality ores along with a lot of herbs. She narrates how Lady generously gave her a ton of magic ore once the latter heard that Mia had become an alchemist. Still, this is way too many for a single alchemist. It's practically like stock in a weaponry shop. Now Mia understands why Lady was laughing at her. It was because poor Mia was dragging everything when she exited her shop. Anyway, Mia opens up about how she wanted to make a necklace for a friend at the Adventurers Guild, which is why she was choosing magic ore. Crane is pleased to hear that, though he warns her that learning the shaping skill while making potions will be tough. Well, Mia's pretty confident in potion prep, and she has experience as an assistant, suggesting Crane just teach her whenever he has free time. Normally one should focus on mixing and polishing their skills, but Mia's dream as an alchemist came true, so there's so much she wants to do. Since she still doesn't have a fixed path, she wants to try a lot of things. Just then she notices Crane staring at her, prompting her to ask if there was something wrong. Well, no, not really. But if Mia told Lady that she was his assistant, then the older woman should understand that potion making is Mia's job. Still, for Lady to give her this much just because she showed interest feels strange, even for the older woman's pranks. Now that Mia remembers it, Lady says it was an investment, and they just chatted about annulment rumors too. Oh, if that's the case, Crane thinks that Lady might be expecting Mia to be her successor. Wait, what? Lady's successor? That's impossible for Mia, at least that's what she says for now. Besides, our heroine wants to make different things and refuses to make items that smell like stink bugs. Hold up, is Lady even an alchemist and not just a wholesaler? Crane can understand why Mia's view of the older woman is like that, but more importantly, did she really talk to the older woman about the rumor? Mia says yes, though it doesn't look like Lady knows she's the one who filed the annulment. To that, Crane reveals that Lady Babaril is someone who loves others' misfortune and gossip, so there's no way she didn't know Mia was involved. In fact, she definitely tried to fish out juicy details on purpose. Upon realization, Mia feels duped because that old hag really played her plenty with that ore and everything. Well, you never really know where the sparks of trouble lie, but Crane still warns Mia to be careful even if Lady was a step ahead of her this time. Now then, to more important matters. Although it's obvious that Mia has just arrived, Crane needs her to do something for him right away. Excited at the new project, Mia asks what it is, and Crane says it's mass-producing 200 bottles of potion. Did he just say potion production, 200 bottles? Crane confirms that what she heard is correct, though he clarifies that it's not all from a single order. Since requests came from everywhere, it all adds up to around 200 bottles. Also, because this is a personal order, he tells her that it won't go to the Alchemist Guild, which is why he thinks it's fine to let her handle everything from start to finish. Wait a minute, what does he mean by start to finish? Crane simply enumerates everything she needs to do, gathering herbs, making the potions, checking their quality, and delivering them. Gee, that's literally everything. To be fair, the court alchemist did warn her before that he won't go easy on her. Even apprentices don't get coddled by him. He did say that, but Mia has only made a potion once. Plus, Crane also helped during that time. This made her realize that this is the elite alchemist rite of passage. Is this also the reason why alchemist assistants are so notorious? Frankly speaking, Mia hopes for a softer teaching style, but it looks like that's not going to happen. Oh, before Crane forgets, the deadline's the end of next week. Upon hearing that, Mia feels the pressure because this isn't exactly a small order. No, but wait a minute. If she thinks about it differently, it means she gets that much time to focus purely on alchemy, so it's totally worth trying. She asks Crane if he can teach her shaping skills if this potion order goes well. Of course, Crane is more than happy to do so. Once she delivers everything safely, then they can start shaping training. That's more than enough boost for Mia. If she can learn shaping on top of mixing, then she can finally work as a real alchemist. And if she keeps learning like this, eventually she'll be able to stand on her own. And who knows, maybe she's even run her own workshop or shop. Since this is such a rare chance, Mia vows to make the most of it for her second life. She's going to give it her all to become a full-fledged alchemist. So just like before, Mia begins immediately, starting with herb prep. Since this is her first real order, she needs to give it her all. This isn't practice or a hobby anymore. She's making potions for people who actually need them. Since Crane took this request, the client's trust and responsibility are huge, which is why she wants to make a potion worthy of that trust. First, she fills a tub with lukewarm water and gently washes the herbs. Crane asks if she really needs to use lukewarm water for that, so Mia explains that lukewarm water makes it easier to remove dirt. Also, she can't explain it well, but it also keeps the herbs from wilting and keeps them fresh longer. This is the first time Crane has heard of that. Once the herbs are clean, she lays them out individually in a sunny spot. At this, Crane reacts again and asks a question. Isn't drying herbs not really a part of making potions? This? She tells him that this isn't for drying. Exposing the herbs to a little sun draws out the toxins from them. Upon hearing that, Crane moves closer and sees that something is coming out of the herbs. Mia continues that it makes the next step, infusing magic, much easier. Well, for someone skilled like Crane, maybe he won't need this step. But Crane remembers that Mia didn't do this yesterday, when they were making her first potion. That's true, when he taught her alchemy, they did prep the potion, but that wasn't going to be enough. To that, Mia admits that she was actually just too excited to start alchemy yesterday that she cut a few corners. That's some nerve she has there, slacking off in front of a court alchemist, he says. To be fair, Mia doesn't usually do that, she just got way too excited yesterday. Girl, chill. He gets it, okay? Judging by her work at the Adventurers Guild, she's someone serious about her job. Potion prep is all delicate herb handling and water work. It's pretty much boring and exhausting, but Mia believes her effort to make it just a bit better will finally be recognized and appreciated. She hopes so, since yesterday Crane praised her for it, and she has to admit it made her giddy. Speaking of Crane, Mia had to ask why he's watching her so closely. It's making her nervous and tense here. Well, it's because he's surprised to see her handle so many herbs at once. Mia says this is just so she can work efficiently. Crane comments on how a skilled alchemist with big contracts would do this. Usually they're too busy for anyone to watch, and since Crane himself wouldn't have thought of this, it's pretty fascinating to watch for him. So all this close observation he's doing is really out of curiosity, no? Alchemy is a closed-off world, and rarely do they show anyone else their work. For someone like Crane who works alone, is her work really worth observing for research? She's still just an apprentice though, and she's done potions for years now, so she's pretty confident with this. Wait a minute, this isn't how assistant work is supposed to be. Mia turns to him, asking if this doesn't feel backwards to him. Crane reasons that he's just checking on an apprentice's work, so it's fine. Okay if he says so. Just then Mia notices that the water's getting pretty murky, signaling it's time to swap it out. As she does so, Crane takes a beaker full of the water and observes it. There's no weird thickness or smell. Is this really a toxin or just dirt? With that way it is, it's pretty hard to tell. Mia thinks they're toxins because if she keeps washing in this water, her hands start to tingle. Crane takes note of that, adding that it could even be harmful to humans. If this is the case, then he needs a bit more of the dirty water so he can investigate carefully. Mia adds that the water should be safe to ingest though. She may call it a toxin, but lots of people have drunk potions with it, so she doubts it's actually dangerous. This time it's Crane's turn for his face to light up. Maybe these toxins in the water are normal to Mia, but this is the first time he has seen them, which makes him even more curious about them. She's surprised to hear that, especially since she expected him to have more detailed data. After all, wasn't he researching potions for a while now? In his defense, studying live plants is tricky. The components can change depending on location and season. But isn't that usually the farmer's or botanist's field? Well, Crane can help out in those areas too with the help of alchemy. This is why he analyzes things instead of ignoring them. Still, there's no guarantee that it will be useful data though. Mia sees him in a new light yet again. So Crane's not just into potion research, he tries to contribute to other fields too. It's no wonder he's a court alchemist at such a young age. Just like that, the day passed, and it's almost over. As for Mia, he's starting to get the hang of mixing techniques. Crane interrupts her work for a bit, asking how many days she plans to make 200 potions. Looking at today's finished products, Mia thought it would be better to finish and deliver them quickly. To that, her employer reminds her that there should be a limit, and for goodness sake, she's already catching up to his pace. Since mixing doesn't take long and she already knows the prep stuff, and there's no Adventurer Guild work to think about, this much is a pretty reasonable pace for Mia. This is the first time Crane heard that she used her guild-free days to prep herbs. Personally, Mia has more mental space than before. and she can focus even on repetitive work. Mia explains that she preps the herbs on her days off for Zeal's weekday mixing. That's an assistant's job. She remembers how she even prepped herbs for 400 potions in one go back then. Since she's an unmarried noble, she couldn't be out late, and as a result she started at dawn and worked until sunset. So it's no wonder she got into optimizing the workflow. This time, Crane asks a different question and wants her to answer honestly. How does being an alchemist feel? Mia echoes the question while he continues that she must have thoughts about potion making considering she made this much, right? She ponders for a bit and looks around. The workshop's spacious and well equipped. It's super easy to work in, and thanks to that the potions are of better quality too. She answers that she's getting used to the mixing work and it doesn't take as long as she thought. Well, since she has a gist of it, then it follows that she can probably estimate how long potion making takes, yes? Mia replies that prep is 90% and mixing is 10%, or something like that. Huh? Wait a minute, prep really does take way more time, and she's been doing all of Zeal's prep work until now. She handled 90% of the work and Zeal only did 10%? Could it be that he's been taking advantage of her work and slacking off too much? Finally she gets it. Zeal always looked like he was struggling with alchemy, but mixing alone wasn't really that hard, that was all an act. All this time he was just dumping work on Mia so he could slack off. She's been bamboozled. She turns to Crane asking how much Zeal has been playing around all this time, but as if the latter has an answer to that. Learning this fact just leaves Mia frustrated, but she doesn't want to deal with Zeal anymore. On the flip side, that unfairness of his got her noticed by Crane, so at least there's a silver lining. Mia slaps both of her cheeks. She's all fired up, hell-bent on finishing all these potions, delivering 200 bottles this week and moving on. She must stay positive. This is all part of becoming a proper alchemist, and since the engagement is off, there's no point in digging up old issues. If Zeal's going to go all out, then she's going to give it her all too. And she has no plan to slow down Crane either. Seeing her fired up like this, Crane reminds her that 200 bottles a week is like 4 alchemists worth of work. She can't maintain the focus and mana for that. Mia in turn confirms that the workshop only has 2 people, including her. So what? Is she saying that she's going to finish this all in a few days? And that's exactly what she intends to do since Crane dumped everything on her. Hearing her answer just made him wonder if he's being way too soft on her, even though he's not usually like that. For the first time, Mia understands what a terrible boss is, and this terrible boss of hers claps back saying she shouldn't lecture him, calling her an overpowered apprentice. Mia starts mixing the herbs intensely until she catches herself. Crap, she needs to be more careful and work neatly. Hopefully the clients will be happy with the results. Crane smiles as he continues to watch over her work until she finally gets a good consistency. She may have faced a lot of unfairness, but all the effort she has put in wasn't wasted. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the city, someone's having the worst day of his life yet. And yes, it's Zeal. He curses, slamming both hands on the table because why can't he make a potion? He's a genius, so he shouldn't fail at something as simple as this. He continues chanting that he's a genius like a mantra, all while thinking about everything he did up to this point. He did the shopping, herb prep, potion prep, and even the chores Mia did back then. He still put in the work, so why isn't the alchemical reaction happening when he channels mana? He's doing the exact same thing as always. The process is correct. Crush the prepped herbs, mix with mana, water, and boom, potion done. He grabs another handful of herbs and starts mixing them furiously. He's a genius who can make perfect potions without effort, so why the hell is this not working? He tries to channel mana but gets burned by how the beaker is. Just then Katarina walks in, informing him that the Duke of Wolfwood came to pick up the potions. She asks if they have any ready to give to him. Instead of answering her question, Zeal tells her that he's in an alchemy slump. He can't make potions. But wait, didn't he tell her before that if he tries hard it will be fine? Zeal snaps at her saying this is different because he can't do alchemy now. Oh, could this be the impact of Katarina's senior leaving his side? Zeal tells her to cut the crap. He only made Mia do chores, so there's no way that would affect him. Yeah, he's right? Well, what should they do now? The Duke is waiting. Zeal asks her what happened to the leftover potions. Huh? Has he forgotten? He threw out the ones Mia helped with, along with the herbs. Didn't Zeal tell her that if he tried hard he could make them in half a day? Crap, this just stressed Zeal out even more. Of all times this had to happen, it had to happen now? This affects a big order of his. To be fair, this is all Zeal's fault. Katarina asks if he's okay and she's a bit worried for him since the Wolfwood family is known for being tough. Well, this leaves him with no choice. Zeal decides he'll just have to persuade the nobleman somehow. Besides, it's been a while since he met the guy as well. Upon hearing that, Katarina is left asking just who handled all the past orders all this time. Mia finishes the potion Crane tasked her with and delivers it without any issues. The recipient is a man also familiar with Mia's work as an assistant alchemist and at the guild. Like many others, he's in disbelief that she really became a court alchemist's assistant. He wishes her good luck as he receives the potions, which Mia appreciates. Now, with the delivery of 200 potions done, she checks her list and sees that she has covered most of the delivery spots. As she was about to check what to do next, Alice suddenly appeared, waving at her. The appearance of her friend is a welcome sight to Mia, and she's even happier that Alice is the one receiving the potions for the Adventurers Guild. It's no problem for the latter, given how it must be awkward for Mia, given everything that has happened. Plus, she also wanted to check the quality herself, so she suggested Mia stay at their place for lunch. The two ladies head to the restaurant near the Adventurers Guild, and this very same restaurant actually belongs to Alice's family. She frequents the place, so it's a pretty familiar spot. While waiting for their food, Alice checks Mia's potions, casually talking about how she never thought the day would come when Mia would supply potions to the guild. So far, she notes how her friend's potions are pretty good and asks Mia if she made them all by herself. The latter confirms that it is correct. She even goes as far as to say that even by her own evaluation, they're high quality. In Alice's opinion, these potions feel more like something a veteran craftsman made. Mia thinks that maybe it's because the court chemist's workshop has all the latest equipment, though Alice does not look convinced. In her head, Miss thinks she did pretty well, though it's no different from when she helped Zeal. It's just the usual prep work, and yet the potions turned out better than ordinary. If anything's different, it's the environment she makes the potions in and the fact that she now uses her alchemy skills. Just then, their food is served, and the man serving them greets Mia, surprised that she became an assistant to a court alchemist. It's Alice's dad. He's the chef at the restaurant and personally came out to deliver their food so he could congratulate Mia. Our modest heroine clarifies that she just switched to a different position, but the older man points out that getting scouted still counts as a promotion, right? Alice is not too happy with her dad suddenly barging in on their conversation. As soon as he's done serving, Alice ushers him away, saying he's ruining her girly lunch. So, back to their lunch. Mia has eaten at their place so many times, but to this day she finds their food really delicious. She commends her friend's father for being a professional chef. Alice thinks that Mia may just have a pretty down-to-earth taste, with the former chalking it up to their restaurant having simple dishes. Well, it's only natural, given how Mia's house has a commoner maid cooking for them. Alice didn't expect to hear that from her friend. Who would have thought Mia had an unexpected family situation, no? Wait a minute. Speaking of shocking, Alice has something shocking to share too. According to her, Katerina is apparently fired. She was skipping work without notice, which must be the reason for her getting sacked. Mia's not too surprised with that, knowing how her junior had a bad reputation even when Mia herself left. Katerina took over some of Mia's work, but some tasks involved nobles, and she could only hope that it wouldn't become a big problem. Though she believes that the younger will be snarked at wherever she goes for a while. Alice says it's all Katerina and Zeal's fault. After all, they made a huge fuss and openly announced their affair themselves. Wait, what? Out of shock, Mia gets up from her seat because what do you mean the two broadcast their affair? Alice relays how the night before her friend quit. Katerina and Zeal were drunk and making a scene at the table over there. So does that mean that the night Mia declared the annulment of their engagement was not the reason word got around of their separation? Did Zeal and Katerina unknowingly spread the rumors themselves? That explains why news of their broken engagement spread so fast. Alice confirms Mia's suspicions. It was like a perfect illustration of noble darkness. So it's a good thing that Mia didn't go through with the marriage, no? Something about Alice's reactions tells her that her friend helped out too in her own way. She was about to bring it up but decided against it. Ultimately, Mia just kept it to herself, thinking how lucky she is to have a friend like Alice. Now back to guild matters. Mia asks what happens to the noble clients. Though she doesn't think there are other nobles at the guild though. For now, Alice explains that the guildmaster is taking them on behalf of the guild receptionists, but it looks like some of them might get assigned to Alice. Furthermore, those nobles are expecting a lot because they were close to Mia. Hearing that makes Mia feel a little troubled, suggesting that her friend just decline. The etiquette and face-saving stuff is quite the hassle, and it doesn't really suit Alice. Well, Alice explains that it's a temporary situation, so they'll manage somehow. More importantly, she warns Mia to be careful as well because from what she heard, the ex-fiancé seems pretty upset. Huh? What do you mean he's upset? Mia doesn't understand because Zeal has always been hot-headed, so that just might be his default, no? She remembers when she handed him the annulment papers. Zeal was pretty pumped up. To that, Alice shares that maybe Zeal's mask is slipping and maybe he's struggling now that Mia's gone. Yeah, our heroine doesn't think so. After all, didn't Zeal just tell her that he's going all out from now on? Alice is a little astounded at how slow her friend is, so in a quiet voice she quips that what Zeal said is exactly what someone who's doomed would say. Well, Mia doesn't know that, asking if that's slang among the commoners. Anyway, back in Crane's office, the latter welcomes Mia and asks if the potion deliveries went smoothly. She reports that most were familiar faces and that they were happy to receive their work. Her boss is glad to hear that, and so he tells her that they should get started on formation skill training. Mia instantly perks up, but before that, he urges her to make sure that she's wearing the protective goggles she wore the other day. She actually found those in the changing room and figured they were necessary, hence she put them on absent-mindedly. Truth be told, the only reason she wore them is that she thought they looked pretty cool. Crane explains that chemicals or hot water can splash. Given that Mia is not used to formation skills, she might accidentally liquefy parts of the mineral, and it could spread and injure someone nearby. There are multiple incidents each year where it causes blindness, so it's worth being careful. What's more, not all injuries can be cured with potions. Does she get it now? What if it splashes it on her skin? Hearing all of that made her change into safety clothes, while Crane continued about how, at least with formation skills, those can be removed easily. Moving forward, Crane finally unrolls the scroll and shows her the formation magic circle. He adds that she can only do simple tasks in this formation field, but it's perfect for getting the feel of the skill. Mia peers over the circle, asking if she will let her use formation skills. Rather than explaining, Crane believes it's better to try it out than explain in detail. He puts the magical ore in the center, then instructs her to just channel a bit of mana. From there, the formation field should deploy automatically. Mia does as he instructed, and not too long after she channeled mana into it, she struggles. It feels like her body is floating and like being in a carriage. Crane says it's because the magic circle's power syncs with her mana, forcibly deploying the formation field, which can cause uncomfortable side effects. As such, he explicitly tells her that she needs to master the formation skill, and he's only telling her this now, so she needs to master it ASAP or else this terrible feeling continues. Crane really takes her on-the-job training to the next level, huh? Terrifying. Just then the magical ore turns into mush, looking like clay in her hands. This is quite a new sensation for our heroine, as she's in awe of the normally hard ore turning all bendy. But just as she was about to mold the upper part, she found it was still hard. Crane adds that parts without mana remain hard, and forcibly deploying it causes uneven mana, so she shouldn't let her guard down. Yeah, no crap, Sherlock, he should have told her that earlier. After a prolonged minute, Crane still sees that she's struggling, so fine. He steps in and procures an ore of his own, saying this is just an auxiliary tool after all. Crane shows her how it's done and at the same time explains that she can only make simple shapes and that it won't work on high-rank materials. If Mia wants to make something, she needs to master the skill quickly, and voila, he made a penguin figurine with the ore. Crane puts the penguin on the table, saying the skill is not his specialty, but at least doing something like that is easy enough for him. He also suggests she start with ornaments first before moving on to complex accessories. Mia eyes the figurine, thinking how it completely looks different from her clumsy formation skills. It's pretty hard to believe that this is outside his area of expertise. It just made her think how amazing court alchemists really are. But more important than that, Mia has an interesting question. Does Crane like penguins? He answers that he has always wanted to see one, and he did this one out of curiosity since he has never seen one in real life. Mia just tells him that they're cute. She smiles and asks if she could keep the penguin figurine, saying having a goal nearby would motivate her. He feels a little shy, but Crane lets her have it, as long as she doesn't take it outside the workshop. Mia looks at the figure again and thinks that maybe Crane is trying to motivate her with cute things. He can be strict, but he's also definitely kind. Fast forward 3 days and Mia groans in frustration at what's in front of her. Crap, she can't make fine adjustments at all. Just changing the shape is enough to take all her energy. At least now she's got a couple of geometric shapes done instead of the wobbly figure she did before. As she continues to mold the ore, Crane tells her that this much is normal in the beginning. Just being able to intentionally change shapes on the magic circle is a huge improvement, as it is. Mia has a pretty high expectation of herself though, muttering about how she could have at least made another penguin now that she has done 3 days of practice. Mia makes an error again, making a mess out of the ore. Crane tells her that she shouldn't expect complex designs right away and that she should focus on forming simple shapes quickly first. Okay, fine, Mia's giving up on the penguin for now. Formation can change from the flow of magical power, but this magic circle has a fixed mana flow direction, and mana doesn't penetrate deeply, so it's mostly up to the circle, it's just a tool to get a feel for it. She receives another comment from him, saying she's too absorbed in the formation itself, urging her to broaden her view and grasp the flow of mana overall. Well, she can't help it, touching the ore is fun. So again, Crane tells her to focus on deploying the formation field. Crane steps forward, saying that once she masters the skill, she'll have more flexibility. On another note, if she just keeps using the scrolls, then she'll remain a novice forever. He puts his hand over Mia's splashed ore and cleans it up in one swift move. She asks him how long it took him to master the formation skill, and he replies that he thinks it took about 3 days to be able to deploy a formation field. If it took her 3 days, then it's no wonder she's struggling. Honestly speaking, he thought Mia would pick it up fast because her basic mana control is excellent. Mia believes she overestimated it. She even feels like patting herself on the back for being able to make potions. Actually, she never even thought she'd do alchemy, not just potion making but also practicing formation skills. This truly feels like a dream for her. As if he read her mind, Crane says enjoying alchemy is a talent in itself. It's hard to keep a pure heart like Mia's, and she couldn't believe that he was actually complimenting her. Crane admits that he does envy her. Alchemy is all about persistence and repetition. Even among the best, the legends are said to be those who immerse themselves entirely in alchemy. She asks if those alchemists he mentioned are more amazing than him. He tells her that they're incomparable. They may know about potion trading and sales, but they're less informed about the history or circles of alchemy itself. Mia asks again how incredible those alchemists were. To give her an idea, Crane says in the kingdom of Remeldia there's only one such extraordinary person. According to him, this person created magical gear with various effects. They are a specialist in forming and enchanting. Did he just say gear imbued with magical power? Mia had heard about that before, and she also heard that it was so powerful that only high-ranking adventurers or some nobles could afford it. Back when she was still working at the guild, she got a few inquiries about it, but she never thought someone in this kingdom's court could make them. Crane tells her that unfortunately that person is retired now and enjoying a leisurely retirement. Mia never heard about that, which is only natural given that the person was not active according to Crane. Curious, Mia asks him what kind of gear that person makes. Crane says what he saw back then was a huge shield that can easily block any physical attack, bracers that reflect magic attacks, and necklaces that prevent all kinds of status effects. Back then, he was so overwhelmed at what he witnessed that he couldn't say a word. Just hearing all about that was enough to get Mia all fired up. She wants to try that too someday. He's not surprised at her brazen proclamation, given how that's where everyone starts aiming. But the thing about alchemy is the more you know about it, the less you understand. Even with formation skills, without touching, alchemists could melt and reshape the ore. Hearing that makes Mia think of sorcery, while Crane goes on to say that theoretically it's possible. Formation skills are controlled by imagining she handles it with her hands to control that range, concentrate mana, make it dense, and multi-layer the mana field. Crane shows her how it is done, then explains that alchemists suppress everything there with absolute power. Suddenly Mia feels the air feel tense. Does the mana flow affect the space? But all of a sudden there's calmness and the ore remains the same. Crane tells her that's why it's called the demon's domain. As for him, nothing happens even if he tries. As for her, he suggests that she should graduate from using magic circle aids first. Our heroine is still hung up on what just happened. Crane says nothing happens, but she obviously saw how the space was affected. Maybe it's not entirely wrong, no? Maybe there's just not enough output. She puts her hand over the ore, thinking about what if they were controlling the power unconsciously. Crane notices she seems to be in a daze as she moves. Then she starts muttering about concentrating mana to high density and multi-layering the mana field. The next second, Mia actually conjures a formation circle on her own. What the heck is happening? Mia puts both hands over the ore with the newly formed formation circle and starts transmuting. Even Crane is shocked at this development, asking what she was doing. As she channels her mana into the ore, it explodes in her face, leaving a mess in its wake. After a prolonged silence, Crane asks if she just tapped the devil's domain. Mia starts shaping the ore again but ultimately gives up. She can't do it. Crane doesn't blame her, since the devil's domain is a force capable of controlling the very space itself, so it's only natural that she can't manage it. However, if even once it had succeeded, then that would change everything. Our heroine is not so pessimistic, unlike her employer telling him not to say impossible things. Without her shaping skills, she can't do anything unless she has a scroll. Okay, Crane tries to be helpful again, urging her to think carefully. How did she deploy the devil's domain earlier? Mia doesn't really know, she just focused on what Crane told her and just went for it. Upon hearing that, Crane raises his voice at her, saying that's not something simple at all. He's shocked because this is something alchemists around the world strive for. Mia is taken aback by his outburst. Even if he says that, well, what else can she do? Thankfully, Crane catches himself and apologizes for his behavior, saying he got heated out of jealousy. But wow, Mia never thought she'd actually see him lose his cool like that and act flustered. So she tells him exactly what she's thinking, saying she can't believe someone like him can actually experience jealousy even though he's called a young genius. To that he says failure is an inevitable part of alchemy. Maybe that's how it looks to others, but things never went that smoothly, not even once. Mia experiences the second shock of her life today because what does he mean by that? All this time she imagined it was going perfectly for him, including being appointed the youngest court alchemist. Oh, she's referring to the case of curing the princess's illness, right? A year ago, Crane saved the princess who had an incurable disease. He made a potion that saved her life and it ended up becoming major news. The potion crafted to match her symptoms was apparently unmatched anywhere else. In a world of experience-driven alchemy, the king praised the blossoming young talent. Thus, Crane was appointed as a court alchemist and seemed to have built an absolute status. However, maybe he himself didn't feel that way. Back to the present, he tells Mia that age doesn't matter in alchemy. What matters is the ability to persevere and experiment, even after failure. The one person who helped him realize that was actually Mia. Wow, even Mia's unaware of that as she looks at him in shock. Even Crane himself is shocked at how shocked she is, prompting her to ask if she did something. Crane hesitates for a bit, then reveals that, to be honest, she had actually considered quitting alchemy before. Huh? Mia's shock counter for today, 3. Before she could ask, Crane continued that if he hadn't met her back then, he wouldn't be here right now. Huh? What does he mean by that? Or rather, why would he even quit? Actually, 3 years ago, Crane fell into a slump. Even then, he was studying potions, though he had no specialty. According to him, whatever he made was just mediocre. As such, he lost his confidence as an alchemist, and because of frustration and anxiety, his magic control even faltered. Even simple brewing became unstable in quality. Simply, he was in a bad place. Mia heard how alchemy is easily affected by the mind. Apparently, if it worsens, one might even lose the ability to perform alchemy. Failing due to tension, anxiety, or mishandling magic is probably one of the worst things that could happen to an alchemist. At the time, Crane shares how he couldn't take requests from the Alchemist Guild, so the least he could do was bring potions to the Adventurers Guild, and it was there that Mia helped him. Wait, did he say 3 years ago? Mia had just started working at the guild back then. So yeah, she remembers meeting Crane back then. He was the first to let her appraise a potion at the Adventurers Guild. But from what she remembers, she practically bombarded him with questions about potions. Crane confirms that it is true, remembering how she went off about basic potion making but also asked about advanced topics. Heck, she even pointed out the issues. Crane felt confused back then, but it was definitely a strange experience for him. Mia remembers how she thought there might be an intention behind bringing it to the Adventurers Guild, given how the quality was inconsistent. However, she mistakenly thought it was being researched by specialists at the time, so now that she has the chance to apologize for it, she does so to Crane. He assures her that it's fine, and more importantly, that actually saved him back then. Seeing Mia seriously thinking about every aspect of potions, he felt like she was struggling alongside him. For that reason, he decided to keep going a little longer. Later, he realized he had been doing alchemy purely by instinct, and he could incorporate theory and data to overcome his weaknesses. Oh, thank goodness, that's good to hear. Mia heaves a sigh of relief, glad to hear that she has become a turning point. But in her mind, she hopes that it's a sealed dark past, never to surface again. To reiterate, Crane tells her that the reason she became a court alchemist was because of her, and he continues to be inspired by her. For that, she's truly grateful. Mia doesn't think she did a lot. Besides, if it weren't for him, she wouldn't have become an apprentice. Wait a minute. Could the favor he mentioned before be this? He confirms that it is. It's about that matter from 3 years ago. Since he became a court alchemist thanks to her, recommending her as his assistant is only natural. Plus, if she weren't engaged back then, he would have come and asked her sooner. Well, she's humbled to hear it was the result of Crane's efforts, and she's relieved there's a proper reason behind the recommendation, inviting her to be the assistant of a court alchemist just to erase bad humor. By normal standards, it seems totally unbalanced. If the reason he was called a mentor is that she helped fix Crane's slump, then that makes sense, but to credit her as the trigger is a bit too much, in her opinion. Crane reaching his current position is the result of his own dedication to alchemy, as far as Mia believes. Anyway, he didn't plan on telling her all of this, given how it's a pretty uncool story. Mia thinks it's quite humanizing though. He recalls how he was even temporarily dropped from A rank to D rank at the Alchemist Guild. It felt like he'd been abandoned in everything, but now he's back to S rank. But Mia thinks it's fine. She has also shown her uncool side, so there's no point worrying about the past. If anything, they should get along as fellow uncool people. Crane agrees to that. Back to mentoring, he tells her that they rushed ahead, but Mia has a talent for alchemy. To move forward, she should first practice deploying the shaping field, regardless of whether she's talented or not. Mia promises to do her best, though she hasn't grasped the feeling yet. Before she goes home later, Crane suggests she register with the Alchemist Guild on her way home today. Huh? But isn't that too early for her to do, given she's still an apprentice? Crane doesn't think it matters. He can support her to a certain extent, but the Devil's domain is beyond his hands. As such, she should be under the guild's protection before trouble arises. Since he says it like that, then what choice does Mia have but to follow it, no? Seeing her distraught look, he asks if there's a problem. Well, it's not really a problem per se, it's just that she doesn't want to see her ex-fiancé. Crane tells her that she shouldn't worry too much about Zeal because he's pretty sure the latter is not even thinking about her right now. If anything, Crane thinks Zeal is probably overwhelmed with unexpected visitors and the difficulty of alchemy, leaving Mia confused. She still doesn't get that she's been hard-carrying Zeal all this time, so Crane tells her that she'll see soon enough. Plus, if she brings Crane's recommendation letter and her potion, registration should go smoothly. Their conversation just now reminds Mia of what Alice told her earlier too, about losing flags or something. She has no idea, but she feels something is happening. Later, Mia heads back to the guild, remembering what her employer said about it being fine. To be fair, most people in the Alchemist Guild are polite, so as long as she doesn't meet Zeal, nothing too serious should happen. She pushes the door open and sees that the place is crowded with alchemists. The line for delivery is packed. She looks around quickly, checking to see if Zeal is here, when suddenly a familiar voice greets her. It's Vanessa Wesley. She's a former A-rank alchemist and the Scythe Alchemist Guild submaster. Mia walks up to Vanessa, apologizing for intruding. It's her first time coming at such a busy hour, and the older lady affirms that it is. But as busy as the guild is, Vanessa tells her that one receptionist quit, and they're desperate for help. Mia only stares at her and remembers that Vanessa is famously devoted to freedom, meaning that she is slacking in the name of freedom. Our heroine asks her this up front, but Vanessa feigns innocence. Oh, that's right, she just remembered that Mia quit the Adventurers Guild, right? She invites Mia if she wants to work at the Alchemist Guild, promising that the pay is good. Mia knows that the former may be the submaster in this guild, but she's aware that even Vanessa doesn't have that kind of authority to hire her on the spot. Vanessa feels a little hurt to hear that, and even tells Mia she can rummage through the vault. Our heroine turns her down, telling Vanessa that she has already found a new job. If anything, she's here to register as an alchemist today. But first she clarifies whether the skill exam for registration is waived if she has a recommendation from a B rank or higher alchemist and crafted alchemy items. Vanessa confirms that she got it right. The latter assesses Mia's potion, smiling to herself as she says that the rumor is true. Mia feels a little worried, knowing the rumors about her have spread this far. Vanessa assures her that it's fine, since spreading good rumors doesn't hurt. Well, she has a point, and it looks like the rumor about the broken engagement has been completely rewritten positively. But the rumor about being a court alchemist's assistant might stand out negatively though. Anyway, Vanessa is still assessing her potion and mutters to herself that it's just as she thought. That prompts Mia to ask about what the former just said, but Vanessa refuses to elaborate, saying it's just her opinion and that she's really surprised that Mia is becoming an alchemist. She finally puts the potion down and motions Mia to follow her. As the guild's submaster, Vanessa will personally register her. Mia remains where she's standing, prompting Vanessa to ask what's the matter. The latter says it'll be much faster if she handles the registration since the front desk is pretty crowded, but Mia says she'll pass. In fact, she calls out Vanessa because no matter who's looking at them, it's pretty obvious that Vanessa is free and has a lot of time on her hands. But more importantly, Vanessa has quite a notorious reputation for making unauthorized changes to contract terms and even selling all the extra old stuff. Vanessa laughs it off, saying she has no intention of doing anything weird. Mia turns away and points to the long list of alchemists, almost begging Vanessa to deal with them instead of her. At this point, Vanessa will get complaints, but the latter's not too bothered. Everyone knows she doesn't listen to others anyway. What the heck? Is this workplace even okay to have a submaster like this? Vanessa then pulls Mia over, forcibly dragging her to the back of the guild while the rest of the alchemists and the guild receptionist can only look on at the helpless Mia. Vanessa can't believe the day has come for Mia to register with the Alchemy Guild. Even she feels deeply moved by this. Our heroine is wary of Vanessa, asking her not to act all sisterly all of a sudden given how their relationship isn't like that. That's true, even Vanessa admits that they're not that close, while Mia adds that they only really interacted when she was assisting Zeal. Still, Vanessa had a feeling that this day would come. This was because in the potions that Mia had delivered so far, the former felt her magic was somehow infused in them. Back when Mia was assisting Zeal, she was using her magic to prepare the base of the potions. But if someone not registered with the Alchemy Guild is involved in creating delivery items, it could be considered illegal or punishable. It would be fine if she were just an assistant, but now that it's known that Mia did 90% of the work, it's not just gray, it's way over the line. Vanessa goes on about how she did appraise potions at the Adventurers Guild, but she never recognized the caster's magic before, making her think that maybe it's just her imagination. She couldn't say for certain then, but now, people who can sense magical wavelengths can kind of tell, like Vanessa for example. She places the potion right next to Mia's face and confirms her suspicions. Yep, Mia and potion have the same wavelength. Furthermore, it's a good potion just like the caster. Mia thanks her for the compliment, then tells her that normally you can't tell without a special test unless there's some kind of special trouble. Mia thinks to herself that she'll just keep the 90% workload she had before to herself. On the other hand, here's Vanessa asking if she could take a sample for herself, causing Mia to tell her that she should take the appropriate action. Trivialities aside, Vanessa is more curious to know why Mia decided to register with the Alchemy Guild. If she started assisting Crane, she wouldn't have time to take guild requests, right? Wait a minute, why did Vanessa just call Crane without honorifics? He's the eldest son of the Marquis family and a court alchemist. Well, she doesn't know the relationship between Vanessa and Crane, but she's pretty sure the former shouldn't go around calling Crane by his first name. Back to Vanessa's question. Mia says she has no plan to take any request right now since she can only make potions, plus she's still training her formation skills too. However, she quickly adds that Crane thinks she should come under the guild's protection. But before she can continue, Vanessa puts her finger over the former's lip, warning her not to be so straightforward. The Adventurers Guild runs this place for profit after all, and if it weren't for Vanessa, our heroine wouldn't get away with saying what she just said. However, Vanessa does understand that Mia's formation skills are still in training, because look, she just got a fragment of magic ore from touching Mia's face. Oh, that must be the leftovers from when she failed at forming the ore earlier. Anyway, Mia tells Vanessa that she's just a mere apprentice, though in her mind she commends the latter as expected from a former A-rank alchemist. Mia's still fresh and inexperienced, but once she registers as an alchemist, she will be treated as a full-fledged professional adult. Unless she becomes at least a B rank, which the guild would consider beneficial, Vanessa tells her that she has to take on a certain number of requests. Sheesh, Mia never thought she'd be lectured by the absentee Queen Vanessa herself about things like this, but she does have a point. Mia asks the other if she could do something about this given how Crane only told her to complete the registration. Vanessa says there's no chance the guild isn't a charity after all, and apparently Crane doesn't get that. Oh no, this is quite troublesome for Mia's end. What could she do? She can't just take requests haphazardly and risk messing up her assistant work. Vanessa notices that Mia seems to be struggling with what to do, so she offers her a super good solution for this. Crap, if anything, our heroine has a bad feeling about this. Vanessa tells her that all she needs to do is deliver the same potions she brought today on a regular schedule. If she does, then there won't be any problem. Yeah, there it is, Vanessa's suspicious deal. The former says there's a little trouble with some potion transactions, so she asks Mia if she would help her out while also assuring our heroine that she'll handle the tricky parts. Geez, fine. Mia agrees to this weird request, but only for this time. She can deliver this amount of potions easily, as long as it won't interfere with her assistant work either. Well, if that's the case, Vanessa readily hands her the request, asking for 100 potions this weekend for the C rank. Huh? 100 potions for C rank? By this weekend? Vanessa only smiles until she finally puts her hands together, begging Mia to do this. She knows this is a troublesome case, so it would be great if she could handle it quickly. If Crane's assistant handles it, then the client will also be satisfied. Most importantly, she promises that it won't cause any trouble for her or Crane. Mia can only sigh because it's not like she can do anything about it, right? Fine, it's only for this one time. Vanessa thanks her while Mia fills out the paperwork. She knows in her mind that she shouldn't take Vanessa's request, yet here she is. Vanessa looks at the potion, thinking that if it's just this amount of potion it will definitely do. After all, Mia is such an interesting girl. Mia is right to be suspicious of Vanessa's request. Do you know why? Just a few hours ago, Zeal was actually at their guild, his head bowed low as he asked them to delay the potion delivery. What's this? Vanessa's surprised at this development. After being so arrogant, this man has surprisingly become quiet, huh? But if the potions aren't high quality, then that's going to be a problem. She turns to him and even wrongly calls him Paul. LOL. Zeal had to correct her and tell her his name, while Vanessa asked him for the reason for delaying the delivery. After all, the Alchemy Guild also has an obligation to explain to the client, but Zeal can't explain. What he promises, though, is that if they wait longer, then he'll make something even better than his usual potions. He'll make sure of that. If that's the case, then Vanessa will proceed, assuming the contract will be cancelled. Zeal whips his head up so fast while she tells him that whether they renew the contract depends on the quality of the next potion he brings. Zeal couldn't believe his ears. That's outrageous. The guild just can't cancel a contract on its own. He can complain all he wants, but it doesn't matter whether he agrees or not. The contract itself was made through the guild. If the deadline is missed without a valid reason, then it's automatically a breach. At that, Zeal snaps. He's an alchemist trying to reach B rank at this young age. Does she really think it's okay to treat a next-generation talent like him? At that, Vanessa pauses and finally looks at him. She walks over to Zeal, saying he's delusional to his face. For alchemists who value experience and skill, youth means nothing. And from the looks of it, some people may mature early, stop improving, and show pitiful results. Crap, this just makes Zeal even more humiliated. But no, Zeal believes himself to be a genius. Too bad for him. Vanessa doesn't buy his crap. Geniuses don't exist. If anything, she says a genius is just someone who has worked harder than most, so he'd better remember it well, and Zeal calling himself that is nothing but child's play. He curses at her, saying how she's nothing but a girl who ran away from the world of alchemy. But as if that jab could hurt Vanessa, in fact, she laughs it off, saying he can say that once he makes an amazing potion, that is, if he can even make one. With that, Zeal storms off without another word. Once he's gone, Vanessa laments that dealing with a troublesome person while busy is tough for a submaster. As soon as she said that, the receptionist at the counter snapped at her, telling her to help out then. There's a long line of alchemists here. Can't she see that? But Vanessa just laughs it off, saying she's specializing in VIP support today. Plus, Vanessa has an inkling that someone important is going to show up. She got that right because moments later, Mia walked into their guild. As for Zeal, he marches off into the streets, cursing under his breath. Since the big deal with Duke Wolfwood was cancelled, he wanted to buy time with the existing contracts. As he walked past the townsfolk, he could hear them talking about him, about how he's the guy who got dumped by his fiancé. From what they heard, he's doing nothing and enjoying life with his mistress. His ex-fiancé was scouted as a court alchemist's assistant, with the folks saying how they're a mismatched couple. A terrible man like him really deserves to be dumped. But just when Zeal was about to turn around the corner, he heard his name being called out loud. He quickly moves back and hides, seeing how the knights are actually knocking at his door. The gentlemen were bewildered to find no one answering the door, which is pretty weird. Even though the potion contract was just signed, Zeal hasn't delivered by the deadline, not even a single pre-delivery, and no explanation. This just makes the rumors about him all the more believable because get a load of his storefront. There's not even a single product on the shelves. The place looks like it went out of business, so there may be some truth behind Zeal being incompetent after all. Anyway, they're more concerned about what to do next should they contact the Alchemy Guild. They agreed to do so. Soon there's a field trip for the Magic Academy in the Eastern Forest, so they need to prepare for any emergency. As soon as they're gone, Zeal finally enters his shop and starts rampaging through the place. He curses the low-ranking knights for how they're running wild. There's no way a genius like him is incompetent. But more importantly, he can't let this contract get cancelled anymore. Once he gets out of this slump, he's pretty sure he can fix it. Yeah, that's right. It'll be fine. He's a genius after all. Okay, breakdown over. Time to clean up. While he's doing so, he hears some cluttering behind him. He turns to see Katerina carrying a bunch of new herbs. That instantly put a smile on his face. He walks over to her, excited, commending her for a job well done. If they keep gathering herbs like this, then they can make as many potions as they want. But Katerina cuts him off, saying this is the last batch of new herbs, and making him pause. She's worried because this is the last batch of herbs they can sell. Hold up, Zeal doesn't understand. It's not even the rainy season, and there are plenty of herb gardens in the capital, so there shouldn't be a shortage. She tells him then that a lot of shops are eyeing them apparently, so she doesn't think they can buy more. There aren't even any herbs on the shelves. They could even buy from new stores before, but now they're kicked out for just being seen. Katerina is even blamed for it, and just remembering it is enough to make her cry. Why does she have to get yelled at? Zeal doesn't understand, this is all their fault. He looks at the herbs and the mess on the floor. Finally realization hit him. Is this because he bought up all the herbs? How many times did Katerina even buy them? Surely it wasn't that many. There aren't enough herbs yet, and it couldn't possibly be just because of him. Wait, how much did he even use yesterday? All of these thoughts came flooding into his mind, and Katerina's sniffling was the only thing that brought him back to reality. But apparently she's not done. They told her that she had to deliver potions to the knights, and she could only forcibly buy them. Crap, it's over, there's no turning back. She looks at him, asking if it will really be okay. He can make the potions, right? He smirks and grabs her by the shoulders. Of course he can make the potion. He's a genius alchemist after all. That somehow assures her, yeah, that's right, it's because Zeal is a genius after all. Now, back to our heroine. Crane walks up to her, asking why she has been making potions all morning. To that she tells him that she got tricked by Vanessa, or was asked to do so, and she ended up accepting the request. Crane sees that she's pretending, but he knows Mia is actually quite skilled. Moreover, she's making quite a lot, She tells him that the deadline is this weekend, so it's pretty tight. She even stopped by Lady's shop this morning to buy herbs. Crane remembers that he wrote that she shouldn't take requests for a while. But insurance and objections were useless, Since Mia points out that he's an independent alchemist after all. Still, she slightly regrets accepting this request because today she can't control her magic well. As a result, her potion making isn't going smoothly. Looking at Mia's busy back, Crane wonders if she's feeling pressured. She must be, right? She's still very much an apprentice after all. That's when he notices that she left the scroll for the formation magic circle laid out. Mixing over that will interfere with her magic and make it difficult. No wonder she felt something was off. Well, at least she finally finished one potion. But Crane notices something's off. Just what is that potion she made? It's glowing. Mia holds the potion up, admiring it. It's beautiful. It's clearer than the blue healing potions they usually make. When the light hits it, it sparkles. But aesthetics aside, just what is this potion she made? Crane had to chime in, telling her that she made it herself, didn't she? To be fair, Mia made it with the intention of creating a normal healing potion, though she admits it did feel way harder than usual. To that, Crane says she should have noticed it halfway through, and in her defense, she's still just an apprentice, remember? Now that he said it, she had never seen a potion like this even when she worked at the Adventurer Guild. If she had to say, then it's close to a middle potion. Both she and Crane said it at the same time. Jinx! So let's talk about middle potions. The potions they usually make only heal minor wounds and stop bleeding, but a middle potion is a higher grade one that heals much deeper injuries. The materials and process should be completely different though, and she can't make a middle potion with the herbs she has. But Crane thinks the formation skill most likely altered the herbs' healing properties themselves. The mana inside the potion is different too, and the quality's pretty high too. Well, it's clearly not a middle potion, but it's clearly stronger than a normal one. Crane agrees, though they won't know for sure without analyzing it. Plus, the more they look at it, the stranger the potion gets. Mia turns to him, asking if that even happens. She just mixed it on top of a magic circle, so it shouldn't be all that different, right? Crane tells her that's exactly why she shouldn't say that. But from the looks of it, it's what happened. The herb's components were enhanced, and she had just used the formation skill through the magic circle. In Crane's mind, he wonders if this is beginner's luck or the demon domain. Mia points out one important thing. This time, it seems pretty reproducible. Crane nods and asks if she still has any potion materials left. She just finished prepping them, so she can make as many as needed. He asks this time if she did anything special besides mixing on the magic circle. She didn't do anything special, she just made the potion while using both mixing and formation. Okay, she wants to figure this one out, just what exactly is happening with this potion. She puts the potion into the magic formation circle, and channels the mana in it while Crane does the same. Just doing this again reminds her how much the formation circle really does interfere with mana flow. Even Crane struggles with it. Just how did Mia keep mixing with this much interference? It's much harder than making a high potion. Mia is in disbelief. Did he just say it's harder than an advanced potion? That makes it even less something an apprentice should judge. Crane smirks as he tells her that she's better at mana control than he is, and yes, she'll take that as a compliment. The magic formation circles grow even brighter, and finally it's done. Wow, that's fast. As expected of Crane, finally they have 3 identical ones. Mia sighs because this really isn't apprentice-level work, and even Crane agrees that doing it again wore him out, but even making one would have been impressive. Mia looks at him and sees that he's pleased. Of course he is, it's a brand new potion. Now what should they do with this potion? Crane suggests they should check for any harmful effects and handle them properly. Even if it's close to a middle potion, they can't treat it like a normal one, and the same thing happens with different materials. Mia is also curious if formation and mixing can overlap through skills alone. As for the first one, he says there's a good chance it can be done. There's interference, but it doesn't seem like it's causing any negative effects, so they both agree that it's worth testing. As for the other two, he has no idea. He has never even considered using both skills at once. If they keep using magic circles, high-rank materials won't work, right? He says they're just support tools for learning formation. If they use C-rank or higher materials, then the circle won't respond. Oh, Mia needs to properly learn the formation skill first. Then, even so, he thinks they've gained a lot already today. Now they just need repeated trials to pinpoint the issues. Wait a minute, she tells him that these materials are for Vanessa's request, so they can't use them for experiments. Oh right, that's a fair point. If that's the case, then he'll buy more then. He turned and was about to head out the door, and Mia practically had to shout after him, telling him to wait. She reminds him that shopping is the assistant's job, so she urges him to just keep researching. Mia rushes out the door thinking that a court alchemist shopping while the assistant researches would cause rumors all over again. She makes a beeline for Lady's shop, already telling her at the door that she would like to purchase more herbs. The older woman frowns because she remembers Mia just bought some this morning, right? To be fair, even Mia didn't expect to come twice in one day either. Lady's quick eye notices how our heroine looks worn out. Could it be that she's failing at potion making? No! Mia clarifies that it's the opposite, actually it's going too well and work keeps piling up. At this point she doesn't even have time to practice formation skills. Lady only smirks because it isn't that a luxurious problem? Mia's the only one here who would say something like that. Oh, come off it. Mia knows she's lucky, but a little balance would be nice. An apprentice alchemist being this busy is unheard of. She remembers how it took Zeal years to get a C-rank contract, so why did she get one on her very first day? Just then Mia notices that the herbs are gone from the shelf. She asks Lady where the herbs went, and the latter says she should ask her own heart. Just who does she think bought them all? Oh, that snapped some sense into Mia. Now that Lady mentioned it, she has been making tons of potions, and she's been buying from the older lady over and over. Lady says she has stock in the back, but those are reserved for business clients, so she can't put them out for sale. Mia can only apologize, and seeing her like that pleases Lady. In fact, the older lady even urges her to reflect on it more because thanks to Mia, she can't overcharge for low-quality herbs anymore. Our heroine rebuts that Lady should at least sell good-quality ones at a high price. But back to her concern, not being able to buy herbs is a problem for Mia. In her mind, she's already thinking if there's anywhere else with a good herb selection. But Mia is desperate, so she had no choice but to pull a hidden move. She gives Lady this Kanako mochi, as long as the older lady will let her buy some herbs. Her tactic worked, and it even elicited a laugh from Lady, because it sure looks like Mia knows how things work, right? Since she's come this far, Lady would like to say she has no choice, or so she'd like to say, but there really isn't any left. Mia asks what she means by that. Lady explains that the capital of Remeldia has plenty of herb gardens. Mia knows that, right? So unless there's a disaster or war, shortages don't happen. But apparently some talentless idiot alchemist went on a buying spree. Now everywhere is running low. By the time they noticed it, it was too late, restrictions were in place. She can't believe it. What that alchemist did would only make everyone hate them, and any alchemist should know that. Who would even do something like that? Lady chuckles, saying that maybe ignorance is bliss. She tells Mia that if she needs herbs in bulk, then she should go through the Adventurer Guild. She just quit, so it's going to be awkward. But Alice mentioned she's handling noble requests, so maybe she'll stop by. Still, it's wrong to leave Lady's shop empty-handed, so she asks the latter to sell her middle potion materials. The older woman chuckles because Mia really is a good kid, handing her tainted herbs. According to her, this is the best stuff, but Mia tells her that it's low quality. God, she leaves this woman off the hook for 1 second and she's already scamming her. Mia tells Lady not to scam her. Seeing her reaction made Lady click her tongue. She's no fun, Lady was just charging an information fee. With that, Mia exits Lady's shop and makes her way to the guild. Along the way, she passes by the sweets shop and remembers how she used to come here all the time for guild treats. Now that she remembers it, Lady Babberel also likes this shop's mochi, so it made her think that she should bring something for everyone at the guild too, given how she never got to thank them properly. She goes inside and the shop owner greets Mia. Our heroine says she could smell the goods from the street and that everything looks especially good today. The shop owner replies that she came at just the right time because she had just finished baking a new almond cookie. With that said, she asks Mia if she would like to try one. It's an easy yes for Mia. The shop owner pulls the cookies out of the oven and hands one to our heroine. Mia takes one bite and she's already enjoying the deliciousness. The almond crunch, The wheat and the butter go well together. She just knows this will be a hit. She tells the owner that the cookie is really good, and the latter couldn't be happier to hear that. She worked hard on those cookies, so hearing that makes her happy. Does Mia want to buy some? Wait a minute, this just made Mia realize something. She used to only buy gifts, but now she doesn't need to diet for dresses anymore. Plus, her salary has gone up too. She doesn't have to hold back anymore. She can buy things for herself. That realization just made her all teary-eyed. With that, she orders 2 boxes each of the new cookies as well as the assorted set. The shop owner thanks her and gets Mia's orders ready. Mia exits the shop with 2 large paper bags of goodies. She really bought a reward for herself. She smiles and skips along, looking forward to the future. Mia is finally in front of the Adventurer Guild for the first time in ages. But she dreads meeting Katarina since it will be too awkward. Well, whatever. She opens the door, wondering if her friend Alice is handling the noble clients okay. The moment she steps in, she sees Alice talking to a nobleman. But to her shock, her friend salutes the nobleman, saying the guild will accept his request. Mia freezes at the guild's entrance on the spot upon hearing that. Meanwhile, the nobleman comments that Alice used the right term, but he has doubts if she should be the one handling the transaction. Alice assures the latter that it's fine. They totally accept it. In her mind, Mia is pulling her own hair because no, it's not fine at all, Alice. Oh my gosh, she's so bad at formal speech that she's acting so rude. At this rate, the nobleman may get mad. But to Mia's surprise, the man smiles and tells her friend how this interaction of theirs reminds him of the time he was teaching his daughter etiquette as a child. Funnily enough, Alice replies, if she looks noble. The nobleman only tells her that maybe she does. Anyway, he decides to go along with their transaction for now. Mia can't believe it. With nobles, one wrong word can cause trouble, but somehow Alice is pulling it off. Thank goodness this man is one of the nice ones. Alice salutes him again before he leaves, and as soon as he does, she slumps over the table with a sigh. Mia approaches her then and commends her friend for doing a good job. The latter didn't expect her friend to drop by, causing her to shout Mia's name out loud. Whoa, our heroine's a bit startled, and Alice can only scratch her head in embarrassment. She's embarrassed to admit that dealings like that are more nerve-wracking than she thought. Good thing Mia brought her, along with others, a little something to cheer them up. Mia hands Alice the paper bag containing the cookies from the shop. Alice opens it and is shocked because aren't these cookies hella expensive? Still, she's thankful for Mia's thoughtfulness. Speaking of thoughtfulness, Mia reminds her that if nobles hand her a box of sweets, she shouldn't open it right in front of them. Alice knows that it's the noble rule, right? It's the opposite of the commoner rule of checking immediately. Suddenly, the other receptionists crowd around them, excited about the box of cookies Mia brought. It's from the famous place, right? Just having Mia around is the best for them. The topic of their conversation remains quiet, but in her mind, Mia remembers that it was also like this back when she was still working here. But before it could get rowdier, Alice shoos them away, saying the cookie unboxing ceremony will take place later. With them gone, Alice turns her attention back to Mia, asking what she came here for today. Could it be that she's missing the Adventurer Guild already? If that's the case, she tells Mia that if she came back right now, then Alice would be so happy that she'd jump for joy. Mia interprets what she said differently and asks whether the transactions with the noble clients are not going well. Nothing could get past Mia, huh? Alice admits that it's exactly as her friend thought. As it turns out, Katarina's no-call absence caused trouble, and apparently it ticked off a lot of nobles. Even the guildmaster's going around apologizing, but like everybody else, he can't help but wish that Mia were still with them. To that, Mia flat out tells her that she's not going to quit her job. But Alice knows that the latter just wanted to let Mia know that she always has a place to come back to, making our heroine smile. Anyway, back to business. Mia says she's here to buy herbs for potions. From what she heard, everything is sold out, and the guild has some. Oh, now Alice understands why they've been getting so many inquiries about herbs. Oh no, Mia asks if the guild's stock is out, but Alice says they do have some, but they're the herbs the newbies picked. You see, herb gathering jobs go to people who just became F-rank adventurers. They don't know the proper way to pick them, so the handling is rough and the quality drops. Considering the recent happenings in Crane's workshop, the herb quality might not even matter with their current method. Ultimately, Mia asks if Alice could pick the herbs for her, and the latter has to ask if she's sure about that, given that the herbs are in pretty rough shape. They're poor quality, especially for a court alchemist. Mia says it's fine, and if she explains it to her boss later, he's sure to understand. Plus, they can test whether they can make good potions from cheap materials with these to boot. Mia is smiling to herself, already thinking about how she can practice formation skills again once she finishes Vanessa's request. Unknown to her, Alice was watching her, which is why the latter can't help but comment on how Mia has changed. Oh, our heroine doesn't think she does. She's the same as always. Well, in Alice's eyes, it's just that Mia is different from when they worked together. Now she sees how her friend has room in her heart, and obviously Mia is also so much happier now. Happier, huh? Now that Mia thinks about it, when she worked at the Adventurer Guild, she never had time for anything fun. She was always either thinking about or performing her duties as a noble, marrying into the Boidos family and protecting its honor. With those responsibilities in mind, she had to do what was right, or at least that's what she kept telling herself. Failure wasn't allowed, so breaking off an engagement should have been impossible, but that day as she took those 2 big steps forward, it opened the path to becoming an alchemist again. Honestly, she has no idea how far she can go or if it's even the right thing, but as a noble she's finally starting to live as herself. Back to the present, Mia affirms what Alice just said. She also believes she's the happiest she's ever been right now. No matter what, alchemy is fun. Alice is glad to hear that, saying Mia should tell her more about it next time. While Mia is having the best time of her life, somebody else is reaping what they sowed. Cue a distressed Zeal. Right now he can't believe what he's hearing and refuses to accept the sudden termination of his yearly contract with Count Bruce. Even Katerina chimes in on their conversation, pointing out that the deadline isn't near, and yet Count Bruce only apologizes, citing that circumstances have changed on his end. Zeal tells the nobleman how they've never had a single issue in all these years, to which the latter explains that he's not complaining about past deliveries, he has just decided to rethink his association with Zeal. Of course, ever so full of himself, Zeal refuses to accept that explanation. If his shop hasn't caused trouble, then there's no reason to rethink anything. Count Bruce sighs in exasperation and finally tells the truth. Judging by the atmosphere, Zeal's shop hardly seems to be thriving. There are no goods, no customers, and no lively staff either. It really makes one wonder who was truly running the shop. These factors alone are a telling sight. Huh? Zeal feigns ignorance because what is the older man talking about? This is his shop, but before he could continue, Count Bruce points out that no one thinks it was him who ran the shop at the very least. When it comes to customer service, hospitality, and directing the shop, he can only think of only one person. No woman who acts like she's the one in charge of everything. Zeal obviously hates hearing that because what did this older man just say? Acting like the one in charge? Those petty chores were Mia's job. Like hell he'd do them. So he counters with his usual excuse. He's the one who made the potions, so technically he's the responsible one. Count Bruce points out that in alchemy that's the bare minimum. The one who added the value of trust and carried responsibility, the very person who is practically the shop itself, is gone. With that said, he can't continue a contract with a shop that's lost that trust. Zeal becomes more desperate, asking Count Bruce to wait. Is he really sure about canceling the contract? He'll miss out since Zeal will be serious from here on out. In fact, he claims he'll make a potion so insane that Count Bruce shouldn't come crawling back later, begging to restart their business. There was a brief pause before the older nobleman asked him this. Is Zeal aware of how noble relations work? He says House Bruce has close ties with House Hobril. The only reason he did business with Zeal was that Mia was here. But with the Boydos family's selfish behavior, Count Bruce has no choice but to end it. Before Zeal could say anything, Katerina warned him that the person they're talking to is a count, a nobleman. But that didn't stop Zeal from crashing out. He starts blaming Mia, saying the latter is running around telling lies about him. Too bad for him, the count knows better. He tells Zeal how no one who has dealt with Mia Hobril ever speaks ill of her. Even for escort jobs, she always arranged introductions with both sides. Plus, she always made sure clients and adventurers wouldn't clash. Simply put, she's a kind girl through and through. Zeal remembers just then the times Mia tells him that the herbs are prepped and she's also done with the stocks. She even goes and fetches the supplies by herself and does not forget to inform him beforehand of order pickups. Even his peers admit how much they envy him, claiming Mia is too good for Zeal and that she was a wonderful bride-to-be. Now even Count Bruce echoes that sentiment. Wasn't she a wonderful bride-to-be? Zeal is almost close to passing out as the realization hits, but his pride refuses to admit it. Katerina grabs his hand and tells him to drop it. Even she knew this all along. How things only went well because of him. How Mia didn't do anything. As usual, Zeal mutters his usual affirmation that he's a genius alchemist, so he's not going to admit it easily. Count Bruce gets up from his seat upon hearing Zeal's resolution. If the young man can't even admit his past mistakes, then he should fall as far as he can and then regret it later, though it may be too late by then. With that, he heads straight to the door as he said he would. Zeal is fuming, thinking about how every last one of them is the same. Just because he's in a slump, this is how they're treating a genius like him? For Pete's sake, he's the C-rank alchemy craftsman and they can't see what matters. Just then, Katerina tells him that she's also leaving for today, completely blindsiding him. At least she finally admits that maybe she was jealous of Mia all along. Everyone likes her and she could handle anything. Zeal is in disbelief. Did Katerina really think she could redo things now? Instead of answering that, she continues about how Zeal may find it hard to forgive her, but she feels like there's only one place that might give her a chance to start over. Truthfully speaking, she's also not sure if they'll accept her given all the trouble she has caused. Zeal slams his hand on the table. This is ridiculous. He was right all along. Everybody else, even Katerina too, will come to regret mocking a genius like him. He storms off, leaving her alone. She mutters to herself that this isn't possible anymore and that there's only a little left of the herb stock. Meanwhile, at the Alchemist Guild, the door bursts open. It's an emergency. The receptionist informs them that monsters are swarming in the eastern forest. This is intel from the knights. Upon hearing that, Vanessa's brows furrow because isn't that where the Magic Academy students are doing training right now? Mia is back at the workshop and is busy practicing her formation skills. She channels her mana into the ore for it to turn into a blob of something. Looking at Crane's work, her latest project is a far cry from the former, noting how it's pretty hard to do fine details. Just then, Crane asks her to appraise some potions, apologizing for disrupting her formation practice. She checks the bottle and notes how the quality's gotten a lot more consistent. Honestly, she didn't think they could make good potions from such poor herbs. Crane also thought so. And as for the test results of the new potion, they can safely assume that overlapping the mixing and formation domains compensates even for low-quality herbs. He journals their findings, saying that being able to reliably make potions at this level regardless of materials is a huge advantage. She agrees. Using potions repeatedly makes the effect weaker. So Mia thinks it's great that they can still make high-quality potions from bad herbs. The only problem is it's hard to control mana during creations. It's even harder than an advanced potion. Crane says you need at least a C rank still to handle it properly. It strains the user and it takes time. The worse the herbs are, the more mana, water, and herbs they will need. So unless there's a shortage like now, the downsides are pretty major. Ugh. This potion is so difficult to make that even Crane struggles to do it. Plus, they can only do 20 a day even working alongside prep. Since Mia is still training formation skills, she burns too much mana to control it. But hey, at least she doesn't need to wear goggles anymore. She turns to Crane and asks if there really is a point in going out of their way to do it like this. He says it's because one can never have too many ways to make quality potions. Plus, they've only just begun researching, so it's too soon to decide if it's for naught or not. He tells her she shouldn't rush. Alchemy research is measured in years, assuring Mia that what she has achieved is more than enough. She knows he's trying to encourage her, but it's not enough for Mia. Given her caring and industrious nature, she can't help but wish she could make quality potions more consistently. Sure, she's getting the orders done, but she's not totally confident in the ones she makes alone. She hasn't seen anyone use them, and she hasn't even heard if they have. But then again, it's better if they never need to. It was obvious from the way she's so deep in thought that she's not satisfied with her work, so Crane asks her up front if that's what she's thinking. Mia tells him that's not the case at all. It's just that there's still so much she doesn't know. Well, even with little experience, he tells her how it's no exaggeration to call her fully capable. If she specializes in mixing, he's pretty sure that the Alchemist Guild will come running to her. To that, she tells him that she's practicing formation skills so Vanessa can't dump weird requests on her. She stares at her blob of work, thinking maybe she'll improve faster if she finishes it piece by piece. Or maybe it's just her sense of aesthetic, no? Just then, they hear a knock on the door. Mia is puzzled because she knows for sure they don't have any meetings or deals scheduled for today. Still, she goes and answers the door, surprised to see Vanessa right outside their door. Speak of the devil. The latter apologizes for dropping by so suddenly, asking if she could talk to both of them. Mia too? Vanessa explicitly tells her that she came for them both. Mia's taken aback because Vanessa is acting differently from usual. What happened? Vanessa sits opposite Crane while Mia prepares their tea. Crane begins by saying how it's pretty rare for Vanessa to come here. Did something happen? Vanessa begins by saying she also wants Mia to hear this too. They need potions urgently. She presumes both of them are already aware that the capital is short on herbs, right? Crane's workshop is also affected by this, with Mia chiming in that Lady Babberel gave her the gist of it, and from what she heard, it looks like this will drag on. To this, Vanessa explains that they wanted to put trade limits in place before it got this bad, but by the time the Alchemist Guild heard, it was too late. They were reacting after the fact. According to Mia, there were trade limits even back when she worked at the Adventurer Guild. If she remembers correctly, the Alchemist Guild has to petition the kingdom and get approval, right? Since it affects the economy and lives, the final call is made by the kingdom and then the restrictions are announced to each guild. In past cases, only high-ranking adventurers taking monster subjugation jobs were allowed to buy potions. Keeping towns and roads safe took priority. Vanessa continues that the capital has herb gardens, so unless something goes wrong, the shortage should have been resolved eventually. But that something happened. With that, she tells them the terrible news that monsters are swarming in the eastern forest. What's even more distressing is that the Magic Academy students are out there on field training. Even without warning signs, that's just unbelievably bad luck. Vanessa says the situation is pretty serious, according to what the survivors said. They were attacked at dawn, panicked, and scattered in all directions. Knights don't just protect students during training exercises, they also escort nobles, which is why Vanessa wants to commission potion production so that injured people won't be left untreated. Mia is aware that the academy has many noble students, and since they have a lot of people, it's only natural that they would need a large number of potions. In a forest crawling with monsters, there is a possibility that their manpower will be dispersed. Vanessa knows that the academy should have brought escort knights and potions like they do every year, but the students are panicking, so they don't know the exact situation. If they weren't short on herbs, they wouldn't even need to worry about this. Crane asks her if the alchemist who bought up the herbs delivered any potions, but unfortunately she says no. The said alchemist was contracted with the Knight Order as well, so even though they weren't supplying potions to the market, they should have been supplying the knights. To say that this is an emergency is an understatement. Supplies aren't getting through nearly enough. Upon hearing that, Mia instantly thinks of the night order. The instructor's father isn't being sent to the front lines, but still, the order has her older brother. With potions in short supply in a forest full of monsters, Mia can't help but think of the worst-case scenario. Wait a minute. Zeal had a big contract with the knights too, didn't he? He's delivering them. No, he should be, right? Suddenly, they hear loud banging on the door, forcing Mia to snap back to the present. She hurries over to answer the door, and Crane can see that she's already distressed. Once Mia opens the door, a knight asks if Vanessa is inside. The latter says he has a message and asks for permission to deliver it here. Vanessa gives him the green light, saying Crane and Mia also need to hear this too. The knight reports that they recovered and questioned several academy students. They were attacked at dawn today, and they've confirmed they lost their large stock of potions for the expedition. The escort knights were badly injured as well, and at this point Mia puts her hand over her mouth at such horrifying news. The knight continues that there aren't many confirmed injured yet, but they're expecting more. Both students and knights are conserving potions as much as possible, but even so, they may still run short. Vanessa tells him that they're already gathering potions through the Alchemist Guild, but the knight quickly tells her that it won't be enough. From what they've been told, they'll need another 100, and at the very least, without half of that, treating the knights will be impossible. Vanessa thanks him for the report, and the latter takes his leave. She turns her attention back to Crane and Mia. To prevent more casualties, they need any usable potions they can get. Luckily, she sees that they have herbs here, but given the quality, it'll be a tough job. Mia and Crane exchange looks, and she's the one who answers Vanessa that they'll prepare potions here in the workshop. On the other hand, she asks if Vanessa can get it ready for transport. Vanessa is alarmed, appreciating the thought behind it, but half-baked potions will only cause more confusion. She adds that if they use potions repeatedly in a short span, the effect weakens. To that, Mia says she believes they've avoided that issue. They hand her one of the potions they made, and even she approves. This is more than good enough to use. She smiles and tells Crane that he has found himself a great assistant. He only smirks, impressed that Vanessa quickly figured out that this is Mia's achievement. At the mention of her name, Mia gets flustered, thinking that what Vanessa is holding is actually made by Crane. Vanessa accepts his statement without question. If anything, she's right, Mia is an interesting one. Anyway, Vanessa sees they have 20 available right now and orders 4 more sets of these. Ha! She's already at the door, saying how she has also asked the other alchemists to create middle potions. However, she's not sure if they'll make it in time, which is why she needs them both to buy them some time until then. Still, that's a pretty staggering amount she's requesting. She's asking for 80 bottles of potions. Honestly speaking, there aren't any potions anywhere, which is why Crane and Mia are their last hope. Of course, she will buy their potion at a high price later. And just like that, she's gone. Even now, the two can only think of one thing. Even now, Vanessa is still Vanessa, huh? Now to more pressing matters. 4 sets? Even Crane himself took a full day just to make 1 set, right? To that, he says the two of them can make 2 sets before things get worse if they start now. Making those potions back-to-back will be grueling to say the least, but it's not like they have any other choice in the matter. He's right, this isn't the time to doubt the potions she makes. Knowing that she can do it means she doesn't have to overthink. Alright, they should make as many as they can and send them over to Vanessa. Crane instructs her to prioritize herb prep while he handles mixing and keeping the potions coming. Mia also volunteers to start mixing as soon as she's done prepping, but Crane only tells her not to push herself because sloppy work only wastes time. Just like that, the two are in their own world, focused on their tasks, with Crane mixing and Mia doing herb prep. As soon as she's done, she immediately starts mixing. No sooner had she started to channel mana into the potion than she started to struggle. Crap, she's too tired. Her mana control is messy, and she hasn't even mastered formation skills yet. With the scroll, the mana interference just wastes mana. If only they had good herbs, then making potions would be easy. Her thoughts can't help but wonder about the students and the knights. But no, she shakes her head, forcing herself to focus on making potions and nothing else. Even Crane grows worried about her, telling her for the nth time not to overdo it. Even he struggles with overlapping domains. Heck, an apprentice shouldn't even be doing this in the first place. Mia retorts sarcastically, so now he's treating her like an apprentice, huh? Well, that's only because she keeps doing things an apprentice shouldn't be doing. Mia asks him if they could just teach this method to other alchemists and have everyone make them. Crane shoots the idea down, pointing out how they don't know what else this technique can create, so spreading it carelessly is too dangerous. Mia tries to appeal the idea by just teaching it among the court alchemists. To that, Crane says if there was anyone reasonable, then he'd have already asked. As it stands, they have to get through this whole ordeal by themselves. She groans while mixing, and again, Crane had to tell her not to put that weight on herself. Even if they don't have enough potions, he assures her that it won't be her fault. Mia knows that already. After all, she's just an apprentice. But right now, her attention is on the pressure that's making her mana unstable. She doesn't know if she can make more than a few. They barely have 1 set, even combined with Crane's work. This is simply not enough. She grows fearful because if her father gets sent out along with her brother, and if something happens to them, she couldn't bear it, which is why she has to do something. Mia hardens her resolve. She condenses her mana more and increases the density so she can cover for her unstable skill. If she does it all at once, then she won't waste mana and overlap the mana domains. This time Crane scolds her, saying he had told her before not to push herself. At this rate she'll lose consciousness. But Mia can't hear him, she's too busy with the task at hand. Screw it all, the herb's mana and the magic circle should obey her. As soon as she said that, everything stabilized. She did it that fast. That feeling just now, she felt it before. Crane is speechless because she's in the demon domain again. A third voice joins them. It's Lady Babberil. The older woman comes waltzing in, snickering and commenting about how they're doing something quite interesting. Lady Babberil, why is she here? Lady hobbles around carrying a box of sweets. She's just here to deliver a few treats, that's all. She walks over to Mia and tells our heroine right off the bat that she shouldn't let her guard down. With a domain that unstable, Mia will black out in no time. Even if Lady says not, it's not like Mia can't control it. The older woman lectures her that that's what happens when she tries overlapping with such a puny amount of mana and orders Mia to increase her output. Ugh, Mia can't even say anything to that. She does what she's told and another magic circle blooms on top of the current one. Seeing that, Lady applauds Mia for her effort, which the latter gratefully accepts. Then there's Crane, who's in disbelief because Mia actually activated the demon domain on her own, not just once but twice. There he goes again, demon domain this, demon domain that. Poor Mia can't think clearly, huffing, asking how the demon domain isn't an advanced form of formation skill. It's true that their process includes formation, but why does it unlock during mixing? Well, no one really knows the details of the demon domain, including him. The only one who does is the caster standing right there beside her. Lady huffs and then tells them how, back when she was dragged off to the battlefield, she just melted the enemy's weapon and armor a bit, that's all she did. And for doing that, they called her a demon. Rude much. Wait, back up. So you're telling Mia that Lady Babberil is an alchemist who can control the demon domain. It's true that the elder woman has given her so much advice, so Mia had an inkling that Lady wasn't ordinary, but for her to be the actual caster of the demon domain. Just wow. Lady says they may call that power the demon domain, but for her she refers to it as sacred alchemy. Honestly, it's not something one sees a lot these days, and yet here goes Mia, who went ahead and made an X potion on her own. Like what Crane said, even Lady gives props to Mia for getting this far self-taught. But all Mia could focus on was the fact that sacred alchemy is such a pretty rare occurrence. It's no wonder Crane and Vanessa didn't recognize it. Suddenly Mia loses her balance and almost falls to the floor. Had Crane not caught her at the last second, she assures him that she's fine. And more importantly, she insists that they hurry and continue making potions. Crane grabs her firmly by the shoulder, saying she shouldn't push herself. Lady chimes in, saying that if Mia continues making potions, then she'll run out of mana and pass out in mere seconds. Ever so stubborn, Mia claims that she can make 2 in 10 seconds if it gets this much easier. Lady Babberil is not too keen with her answer and lectures her that sacred alchemy is an art that draws out a material's potential to the absolute limit. And since Mia has experienced it herself, even she knows now how hard it is on the caster, right? But Mia won't budge. Even if her mana runs dry, it's not like she'll die. There was a moment of collective silence as Lady and Crane realized that Mia wouldn't stop. In the end, they're the ones who caved in and just let her do as she wishes. But this time, Crane takes the initiative and tells Mia what to do. He instructs our heroine to expand the formation domain and boost the potion's performance. If he expands the mixing domain, then it should reduce the strain on her. Lady has had enough with Mia trying to shoulder everything by herself that the older woman reiterates what she told the former before. Didn't she already teach Mia to accept kindness when it's offered? Well, if that's the case, then Mia promises to bring delicious kusamochi to Lady next time. But Lady Babberil cuts her off mid-sentence. That amount won't cut it. She demands 3 boxes and that Mia should bring all of those herself. With that, Mia and Crane resume their potion making, with Crane expanding his mixing domain. She follows with a double layer in the formation domain and then proceeds to activate sacred alchemy. It produces a multi-tier circle, with Mia doing her best to hold the formation for even a second longer. Crap, she's out of mana, but she refuses to give up, holding on to the last minute while Lady Babberil watches them from where she's seated. Much later, Crane places the final potion on the table. While Lady tells Mia how she's got a knack for doing the stupidest things, even that part reminds her of herself when she was young. It's too bad our heroine is knocked out cold to hear what the elder lady is saying. Still, Lady can't believe Mia passed out after she finished the very last potion. Then she reverts to her grumpy self, scolding Crane. Well, what the hell is he standing around for? He should be making sure of that for Mia, since that's part of his job as the one in charge. Crane says there was no need to remind him, given how he was about to do it without Lady saying it. Everybody knows mana depletion requires proper rest, that much is common knowledge. Lady's not too fond of his smart mouth, saying how he has gotten less cute. Back then she remembers Crane used to be more obedient and didn't talk back like this at all. She stands huffing, scolding them that they should show their elders some respect. But before she goes out the door, Lady turns, telling him that he should treat Mia with care since she's an alchemist with a future. With that, he finally leaves his workshop, and Crane smiles after her. Who would have thought that the demon alchemist would take a liking to Mia, huh? More importantly, did Lady really come out all this way just to check on Mia? Then maybe there's some truth that the elder lady does see Mia as her successor. Speaking of Mia, Crane believes that Mia needs to rest first. He picks her up in his arms, noting how she's gotten pale. But thankfully, it's a classic sign of mana depletion. At this point, rest is the only treatment. Still, there's this nagging feeling of guilt in him. At the back of his mind, he thought that maybe he should have stopped Mia once he realized that it would come to this, as Lady Babaril said. But he just couldn't because he knows how sincerely Mia faced alchemy. Even if you love it, endless effort and struggle aren't easy. There are plenty of painful moments, but Mia would never quit halfway. This is why he wants her to truly enjoy alchemy and keep chasing her dreams. So for her to do that, he needs to guide her better. After all, Mia is the one who reminded him what's fun about alchemy when he was in a slump. Crane tells the sleeping Mia that next time he won't let her push herself. He knows that it's pretty selfish of him to do what he just did, but just this once he asks for her forgiveness. Mia groans, then her face contorts in distress, muttering about how those herbs are hers. It made Crane smile, patting her forehead as he told her not to worry, she'll be able to do her beloved alchemy soon. But for now, she should just rest up. Meanwhile, at the capital city's east gate, Crane makes a personal trip, delivering the potions himself. He expected chaos with the potion shortage, but surprisingly, it's much calmer than he thought. He sees knights and soldiers everywhere, with the wounded being tended. Vanessa came right after they finished the potions and took them, but at least she was considerate enough to ask about Mia before taking off. Crane meets up with Vanessa soon, asking about the situation at the east gate. She tells him that it's calm for now, but there are more injured than they expected. Plus, the search for the missing students is still ongoing. Crane only hopes that the potions they made will buy them some time. Right now, he has brought a few extra potions that he made. Vanessa couldn't be more thankful because right now they're down to the very last bottle. They passed by a troop of knights and Crane overheard their leader give instructions. Teams 1 and 2 will search the northeast sector they haven't searched yet, while Team 3 will prioritize support near the forest entrance. So that explains why the field seems so stable, but what he can't wrap his head around is why morale feels strangely high. This time it's Vanessa's turn to be a bit surprised, and she asks if he has never used the potion before. Crane says he hasn't since they're still testing it. Vanessa tells him to follow her. There's something she wants him to see. Oh no, what could it be? Crap, does the potion have some unexpected side effects? They enter a certain tent, and as soon as Vanessa steps in, she announces that they've got more potions with them. They're just in time. An injured knight sits and is being tended by the medic. Even though he doesn't have the potion yet, he thanks Vanessa because now he can go back to the battlefield. Crane is in disbelief. Does he want to go back out there with that injury? Sure, potions can heal wounds, but no matter how good they are, they won't restore blood or stamina. Vanessa hands the knight a potion and he downs it immediately. To Crane's shock, the injury on the knight's arm starts healing, including the muscle and flesh in mere moments. He checks, closes, and opens his palm before balling his fist and rolling his shoulders. What the The knight turns to Crane, thanking him for the potion. Now they can return to the battlefield. The latter asks if he's sure if he can move, and the knight assures him that there's no problem. There's no pain and he can put strength in his body. Crane understands it now, so the reserve forces he was thinking of were actually the ones healed by the X potion. But still, to think that the X potion even restored the blood they lost, just forget the side effects. This is an absurd effect. The knight adds that there's another reason why he's going out there. Now he can join the search party for his daughter. Again, he thanks and salutes Crane, with the others following suit. Crane is moved by such dedication, and the first thing that comes to mind is Mia. He clarifies to the troop that the one who made those potions wasn't him, leaving the knights confused and wondering who did it then. Despite the shortage, he reveals that one apprentice alchemist made the potions desperately. Right now, he informs them that she's in no state to move, which is why Crane came in her place. If they don't make potions, people will die, which is why they keep making them while carrying that kind of pressure. Everybody is moving desperately to save lives, be it the knights heading into that hellish battlefield or those treating the wounded. Crane continues that even now, countless alchemists are fighting to keep people alive by making potions. He promises that more will arrive soon, so until then, he asks the knights to please hold the line so the damage doesn't spread. And most importantly, he asks them to please come back safely. The knights vow they will do so, as they swear not to waste this chance given to them. Just like that, the troops head out to the forest again. As soon as they're gone, Crane feels the tremors begin, starting from his hands. Looks like the tension snapped and the mana depletion is hitting him now. Mia appears by his side, asking if he's sure to give the credit to his apprentice, Mia. He stands by his answer, saying Mia is the one who discovered how to make that potion. Crane just helped, and he knows Vanessa already knows that. She smiles because Crane remains earnest as ever. Anyway, he asks if Vanessa can take over from here, and the latter is glad to step up. She waves him goodbye, but not before telling him that he should take care of Mia. He already knows that she doesn't have to tell him. Looking after his assistant is the duty of the one in charge. As he makes his way back, Crane keeps thinking about how the person who worked harder than anyone deserves to be thanked properly. Speaking of that person, she's still fast asleep. mumbling about how something good must have happened today. It's a bright sunny day in the city, but for one person their world is about to cave in and go dark. The guildmaster gives his verdict. C-rank alchemist Zeal Boitos is expelled from the Alchemist Guild. The older man details how, in light of recent events concerning the monster outbreak, an impossible level of chaos erupted, causing heavy losses. With the entire capital short on potions, it's an undeniable fact that Zeal's hoarding of herbs led directly to the dire situation. Zeal denies this, as he always does, claiming that it's the monster's fault. They're the ones who showed up in the first place. But the guildmaster cuts him off, saying he has no right to say that when he failed to provide potions during the capital's crisis as a member of the Alchemist Guild. Zeal recoils at the older man's statement, as the guildmaster continues to explain the gravity of what Zeal did. What the guildmaster deemed malicious was that, as an alchemist, Zeal didn't distribute potions to the market and handled herbs recklessly. Had he donated herbs or potions during the incident, then the guild would have just issued a strict warning. Instead, Zeal only wasted massive amounts of herbs, which directly caused trouble in the eastern forest, where the academy students and even the knights sent to rescue them couldn't receive proper treatment. Simply put, the alchemy used to make potions interfered with the healing. Normally, in cases like this, the guildmaster said that Zeal would have been hit with a massive fine and a demotion if he were truly an alchemist, that is. Zeal doesn't understand. What did the guildmaster mean by that? This time Vanessa produces a potion from her pocket. It's the same potion Zeal submitted for his B-rank promotion exam. She continues from where the guildmaster left off, explaining that when they analyzed its mana content, they found almost none of Zeal's mana in it. What is she saying?
Is she saying that she doesn't acknowledge him as the creator of the potion?
And that's exactly Vanessa's point, as she tells him straight up that he can't do alchemy. Zeal is stunned. He can't do alchemy. That's impossible. Even though he's saying all that, deep in his heart Zeal is uncertain because now he can't even tell whether he made the potion that's right in front of him. Seeing his reaction, Vanessa explains that there are rare cases wherein if one doesn't use their skill for a long time, they can lose their skill entirely. It can also happen when their workload drops drastically. Normally, they'd investigate cases like these carefully, but then she shows him a sample potion Mia submitted for her guild registration. Mia's potion contains the same mana signature as the potion Zeal submitted for his promotion. Therefore, at present, the guild concludes that he does not possess a single alchemy skill. With that said, they cannot keep a non-alchemist in the guild. Before he could appeal, the guildmaster showed him a document stating that they would be turning him over to the kingdom. After all, Zeal single-handedly almost collapsed the capital's medical system, for which a severe punishment will be handed down. The guards approach him, alleging Zeal is suspected of attempting to undermine the state, which is why he'll have to go with them. He tries to yell his way out, saying he didn't do anything, but even he couldn't talk back once the tip of the sword's blade was shown on his face. One of the guards has drawn his sword and told Zeal that if he wants to prove his innocence, then he should tell them why he didn't distribute potions for the comrades who died without treatment. Zeal panics and starts stuttering, and as usual, he starts blaming Mia again, even when the guards drag him out of the room, yelling that he didn't do anything. Speaking of Mia, the heroine of our story is finally conscious. She's still feeling the repercussions of mana depletion, sickness, and a heavy body. So this is what it feels like when your mana is drained, Anyway, she's more curious if the delivered potions were enough. Vanessa says they were, thanks to Mia's efforts. But rather than that, the latter insists Mia should worry more about herself. Actually, even Vanessa feels bad, saying she shares some blame for this. But Mia doesn't want the latter to feel bad for her. It's fine, she chose to do it to fulfill Vanessa's request. Vanessa just didn't expect that Mia had family in the Knights, so she feels bad for making our heroine undergo something like that. Mia is quiet and only stares at Vanessa before asking if it was really her. She's acting insanely serious, which is pretty out of character for the likes of Vanessa. At that, the latter rebuts that she's always serious, then points out that Mia is the type to tease people. But Mia's teasing actually worked because finally Vanessa started giggling, her serious aura already out the window. Anyway, from what Mia heard, the Knights weren't completely unharmed, but the damage was far less than expected. They also asked for details on the X potion, but she and Crane agreed to keep quiet since they don't know how it could be used. Speaking of the X potion, Vanessa says the potion they made worked like a middle potion, but it healed more than wounds. It also restored fatigue and stamina. So how did Mia make it? Mia just smiles and says it's just the result of working really hard, but Vanessa is intent on knowing. Come on, it's only her here, Mia can tell her, right? Mia had to put Vanessa in her place as she asked the older woman if they were that close for her to do that. But potions talk aside, Mia is grateful for Vanessa's effort in looking after her. In Vanessa's case, she was merely checking up on Mia's condition. Just then they hear a knock on the door, soon followed by the door opening and Crane walking in. He's all smiles, seeing that Mia is awake now. He asks how she feels, and Mia answers truthfully, saying she still doesn't feel good, but at least her head is clear. Then there's Vanessa, giggling to herself while looking at Mia. Our heroine just knows the latter is misunderstanding something here, but whatever. Crane is relieved to hear that Mia feels better than he expected, but as a precaution, he orders her to rest for a week. A week's rest? That long? Crane points out that even veterans take 3 days when they're drained. He had to remind her that she's an apprentice to begin with. What's more, they don't fully understand her skills yet, so it's better to be careful. Oh right, sacred alchemy. Crane's right, they should probably keep it private for now. Alright, fine, Mia will lie low for a while. Honestly speaking, she doesn't even want to move. Crane thought so. Been there, done that. That feeling of being so sluggish that even talking feels like a chore. Vanessa chimes in saying it's like a brutal girl day and that it pissed Mia off a bit for the latter being so tactless. Anyway, she's going back to sleep and suggests Crane should rest too. Ooh, Vanessa thinks it would be nice to nap with Mia too. But Crane stops her right there saying the Alchemist Guild is calling for her, as evidenced by the people calling out her name. Fast forward a week later, the carriage stops, and a pair of fancy shoes steps down from it as the driver announces to Mia that they've reached the royal castle. Mia is all dolled up, dressed elegantly as she stares wide-eyed at everyone present. There are guild adventurers, alchemists, magic academy students, and even knights here. The surroundings are all so lively that they boosted her mood. It's been a week since she woke up from mana depletion, and today they're holding a party to honor everyone involved in the Eastern Forest incident. Normally she hates going to the castle right after recovering, but after living on porridge every day, the idea soon appealed to her. Do you know why? It's because she wants to eat royal party food. Heh. She can't believe she caved into her appetite and on the upside, her corset slipped on so easily after what happened, and it also reminded her how horrifying mana depletion is. On the bright side, that means she can eat more. She already grabbed a plate and the cutlery, already thinking about how the food served here will be super tasty since it's not exclusively for nobles. She's already got a plate full of food, thinking that she may be a noble, but today she's here as an alchemist, so she doesn't care who's here. She was about to take a bite when a familiar voice greeted her, stopping her from eating. Oh, it's Count Bruce. She knows he's a regular at Zeal's shop and is someone her father is deeply indebted to. Mia puts her plate down and bows, apologizing for the trouble she has caused. The older nobleman just laughs it off, saying it's no problem at all. More importantly, he's heard about how Mia has become an alchemist, and from what he heard, she's quite impressive. Mia finds his words too kind. She is just an apprentice after all. Count Bruce then expresses his intent to conduct potion business with her again if she's up for it. He even tells her that he'll be putting in a request and hopes she takes it. With that, he walks away while Mia bows and thanks him. Did he just call Mia impressive? Sure, Count Bruce may be close with her father, but she doesn't see how hiring an apprentice like her would benefit him. Besides, wasn't he in an annual contract with Zeal? Oh, could he be ending that contract? Before she could ponder the matter, another voice greeted her from behind. When Mia turned in the direction of the voice, she was surprised to see Duke Wolfwood. Like Count Bruce, the Duke has also heard about Mia becoming an apprentice to a court alchemist. Like before, Mia bows in greeting, remembering the Duke for doing business with Zeal. She thanks him, acting refined, but in her mind, she just wants to eat meat. Anyhow, Duke Wolfwood actually admits that he was quite shocked when Mia took on that matter. Puzzled, Mia parrots his words, to which the Duke asks if she had heard about the potion contract from Vanessa. Wait a minute, she finally gets it now. So the C-rank request Vanessa dumped on her last time was actually from Duke Wolfwood. She heard that it was a troublesome request. Wait a minute, was Zeal the one who caused trouble for Duke Wolfwood? Again, Mia hangs her head low, bowing in apology for the inconvenience. But the older nobleman lets bygones be bygones. Plus, he was satisfied in the end, and it also reached his ears how Mia's potions were extremely useful during the recent incident. Duke Wolfwood looks around, saying that they lost most of their potions in the monster attack, but some survived and returned safely thanks to the potions delivered. He walks away with a smile, commending Mia for the fine work she did. Mia couldn't even catch a break because as soon as Duke Wolfwood was gone, suddenly these random side character nobles started approaching her. Like moths drawn to a flame, they were quick to surround her, knowing she was no longer engaged. She tried to be polite, reminding them that she had just broken off her engagement. But these men really have selective hearing, because all they hear is how she's not engaged. The absolute audacity. There's only so much Mia could take, so with a plastic smile she progressively starts backing away until, finally, she finds reprieve in the corridors. She has no idea why all these nobles are coming after her, but now that she has a life where she can finally do alchemy freely, she doesn't want to be anyone's fiancé again. She vows never to let anyone put a collar on her again. She continues walking, exploring the place, thinking about how she needs to hide somewhere fast when she finds herself in the fountain and is face to face with the last person she wants to see, Zeal. And it's not just that, he looks hella depressed too. Ugh. Mia physically recoiled upon seeing him, but to her shock, gone was the arrogant Zeal. Usually he'd belittle her, but he only smiles sadly. From her reaction alone, he figures he's really hated now, huh? Well, he can't really blame her for that. His reaction made Mia step back as he asked if they could talk for a bit. Naturally, she's apprehensive, asking what he wants this time. He tells her that today is his last chance, and does the most shocking gesture of all. He goes on his knees and bows, forehead touching the ground, apologizing for doing whatever he wanted. He's also sorry for ruining the time that mattered to Mia. Our girl is too stunned to speak. Zeal is actually bowing his head and apologizing. With his head still down, he insists on paying her something, even just a little, even though he's not sure how much money he has left. In reply, Mia asks if he has a fever, and that makes Zeal raise his head. He didn't know Mia could joke like that, but in reality she's being so serious about that question. Anyway, as for the compensation, she refuses. Their engagement is already over, and she's not hung up on the past. Instead of that, what she wants to know is what changed, what happened to him. For him to suddenly come and apologize like this is scaring her. For Zeal, the arrogant Zeal, to drop his head and apologize, Mia can't help but be wary because she feels like there must be a catch. Zeal gets up and pulls something out of his pocket. It's the potion he made after giving it his all. For lack of better terms, he says it's garbage. Mia takes it from his hand and assesses it. The healing components and mana are way too low, there's no way he could sell it with such poor quality. Zeal relays how he kept trying over and over, and with that alone it clicked. Mia realized that he was the one who was hoarding herbs, trying to make potions again and again, to the point that the capital ran short on supply. He admits that he couldn't even deliver the potion to the knights. That was a harsh wake-up call for him as he finally realized that Mia was the one covering for him all this time. He's not the genius Mia is. Upon hearing that, she tells him she's no genius, she just loves alchemy. Humble to the end, huh? Zeal had to list down Mia's recent accomplishments, how she was chosen as a court alchemist assistant, and that she proved herself in the recent incident. God, Zeal feels so pathetic acting high and mighty like that. Wait a minute, he just said she proved herself, so she asks how he knew she was the one making the potions this time. It was because of Crane. Her employer said that he wouldn't steal his assistant's accomplishments. And when Crane refused the credit, Mia's name spread everywhere. Apparently the whole castle even went gaga over it. Mia tries to clarify that it wasn't just her who made that potion, she made it together with Crane. In her mind, she wonders if Crane really revealed that crucial piece of information in the scariest place possible, at the castle. Anyway, back to Zeal's drama, he admits how he thought what Crane did was cool. He doesn't hide behind his status and respect and takes care of his assistant. In a way, Zeal kind of gets why Mia chose him. Mia is confused at the tone Zeal used, while the image of a young Mia with twinkling eyes in awe of alchemy flashes before Zeal's mind. There's just one last thing Zeal wants to ask Mia. She asks what it is, and he then asks if he asks her to get engaged to him again. Mia firmly but politely refuses. Zeal chuckles to himself. He figured as much. Mia is confused by his mutterings, and what was he trying to pull anyway? He says it was just a reminder so he doesn't forget how stupid he was. With that, he turns to go. Hearing that last one was more than enough for him, so he thanked her with a smile. Zeal walks away, and as soon as he is a few feet away, a knight emerges from the nearby bushes and follows him. So a knight was watching him, If this was Zeal's last chance to apologize, then they really won't meet again. If Zeal caused this chaos, then at minimum he'll be expelled from the guild and stripped of his noble status. Crane popped out from behind, also shocked at Zeal's drastic change. His sudden appearance made Mia jump in fright, shouting at him not to scare her like that. Oops, sorry. Wait, why is she suddenly remembering what Zeal said about her choosing Crane right now? Well, maybe it's because Zeal phrased it like that. Mia feels her heart racing for no reason. Crane has been good to her, but we're just teacher and student. Anyway, Mia asks how long he was listening to their conversation, and Crane says he barely heard anything. He was just avoiding the crowd when he thought he heard his name. At the very least, he heard Zeal call him cool, though Crane assumed the latter was just lashing out. Mia keeps wondering if Zeal really was the cause of this incident. Maybe she took away his chance to work for himself and cornered him in the end, since she worked hard to support him, so as not to disgrace the Hobril name. She asks Crane then if she hadn't helped Zeal with his alchemy, would he not have ended up like this? Crane has no idea, but what he does know is that Zeal stopped facing alchemy. At the very least, he doesn't think Mia was wrong. Maybe Zeal knows that too, which is why he managed to change that much. Mia has no idea what Zeal will do from here on, but it's a path that isn't hers anymore. Sensing her overthinking, Crane tells her that even if she chases perfection, what she can do is still limited. But even if she messes up, she can just start again. Which is why, as much as she can honestly say she tried, Crane urges her to hold on to that confidence and pride and keep moving forward. Mia agrees and makes a mental note of what he just said so she can live with her head held high, knowing those days weren't for nothing. They walk back to the party, and as they do, heads turn, staring at them, while the two converse, oblivious to their surroundings. Mia brings up how she was stopped by so many people today that she hasn't had the chance to take a single bite. Now, whose fault is that? Crane points out that it's hers, but she disagrees. It's his. It's all because he made it sound like she was the only creator of the X potion. Well, of course he did. Because it's true. She was the one who discovered the method after all. She had to stress that they made it together, and giving her the sole credit is just plain weird. She even heard about how the castle went wild over it. Crane points out that he benefited from her talent, so she should just accept reality already. Finally, Mia starts to check the surroundings and notices that the people repellent effect is perfect. Crane is known among nobles as difficult for being serious, not just because he's a court alchemist. Now Mia can finally get some good food. But at that, they both hear someone call out to Crane. It was one of the knights from before, along with a young girl on his side. The older man asks if Mia was the one, and Crane affirms that it is correct. She's his assistant, the potion maker from the incident. Oh, come on, again? Mia was about to protest, but to her shock, the knight and the girl bowed their heads to her. He introduces himself as one of the knights who searched for the students during the incident. Without Mia's potion, he never would have found his daughter. You see, she went on the expedition as a student. It was pretty horrifying on his part, but he's just relieved right now that they both managed to make it back safely. The girl steps up and thanks them both for saving their lives. Mia was left speechless and teary-eyed as it finally hit her that the potion she made actually kept someone alive. But our modest and humble heroine bows her head to them, pointing out that it was the knights who fought the monsters and rescued the students. To that she also expressed her thanks. The older man can't help but compare Mia to her father. She's just as earnest. Even before she became an apprentice alchemist, Mia was already known as the demon instructor's daughter too. That comment left her feeling a little shy, but with this interaction, Mia thinks she finally feels like an alchemist. With the alchemy she loves, she got to help someone. She got caught up in a daze that Crane had to call her to remind her that she wanted to eat something. Finally, she has a plate full of food and it's true what they say. The third time's a charm. She bites into the meat and gets teary-eyed. Finally, chicken for the first time in forever. Plus, the lemon flavor's perfect too. Crane urges her to eat while she can because someone will probably come and thank her again soon. Mia never knew that alchemists needed more social skills than she thought. He was about to say that it's usually rare to get approached, but decided not to say it. Mia, whose focus is on food, didn't quite catch what he said. Was he aiming for the roast beef too? He had to tell her not to worry about it and just focus on eating instead. Fast forward a few days later, and Mia was finally able to tick something off her to-do list. She finally got to do one thing she'd always wanted. And following an old noble custom, she gave Alice a necklace she made with her formation skill. It bears the Hobril family crest, a sign of friendship. With this, even nobles won't be able to treat Alice carelessly. Speaking of nobles, Alice told her that Katarina returned to work at the Adventurers Guild, which came as a shock to Mia. She couldn't believe the guildmaster would allow it, but apparently, Katarina went around to every client she'd caused trouble for, and apologized so hard she practically rubbed her forehead to the ground. Mia even heard about how Katarina apologized all night in front of their estates. Now, under Alice's guidance, she works diligently, even taking initiative with paperwork and cleaning. The change that came to both Zeal and Katarina is unreal. What even happened? Mia is curious to know, but there's no point obsessing over it since she's got too much she needs to do. Right now there are 2 potions in front of Mia, but upon closer inspection she notes how the quality is pretty uneven. Still, even the wilted herbs turn into potions. Crane figured just as much. It looks like even without double layering, mixing, and formation, she can still improve the potion quality. So what she did was this. Use formation to enhance low-quality herbs, then use them to brew a normal potion, not an X potion. Without double layering, the strain on the caster is lighter too. If this research progresses, they could supply potions even during incidents like this. Now their only problem is the uneven quality. The healing component is lower than a normal potion, so maybe the herbs are so bad that the active ingredients leak out during prep. Crane tells her right then and there that he can't match her prep work, and now she tells him to stop saying such scary compliments. But back to the topic, what she said before is likely. If they don't solve this, there's a risk people could produce fake potions that don't heal at all. Mia starts muttering to herself about how if impurities mix in that easily, then maybe they should treat it as an emergency-only method. Just then she notices Crane staring at her, prompting her to ask what it is. Smiling, he says it's nothing. It's just that listening to her like that makes him think that she's already a full-fledged alchemist. Now why is the guy who hired her as his advisor saying that all of a sudden, Mia insists that she's just an apprentice who has learned to use information. Potion topic aside, Crane is curious about what happened to the penguin figurine she was making. Last he remembered, she left it half finished, right? At that, Mia starts snickering as she proudly shows off her own excited penguin figure. Crane notes how the little guy looks surprised, and that's because Mia made it so to match the pose of Crane's penguin. He admits she did good work, with Mia saying she struggled making the arms, legs, and face, but overall she thinks it came out pretty well. If she can make this right after learning it, she might have a real aptitude for formation. Didn't Lady Beberile give her some magic ore? He asks if she wants to keep developing her formation skill. Mia ponders the idea. While that's true, she also wants to brew all kinds of potions too and craft a lot of accessories for herself. Plus enchanting is a whole unknown world too. There's still so much she wants to learn about alchemy. She tells Crane how she had just jumped into the world she had always dreamed of, so she can't think that far ahead yet. After she builds up more skills and knowledge, only then will she decide what path to take. In her mind, she doesn't want regrets in her second life. This is the first step of the dream she finally got, after all. Crane smiles and respects her decision. For now, they should focus on the work before them. He wants to re-examine the link between herbs and the formation skill and asks for her help. Mia suggests they start by reworking the prep so the healing components don't leak out. While the two are busy at the workshop, word is going around among the city folk. One of the ladies heard a knight talking at the tavern about how he said the potion saved him and that the alchemist had the heart of a saint and all that. From there, word spread of how this figure became the rising star alchemist. Upon hearing that, a gentleman, accompanied by a young boy, stops in his tracks and utters Mia's name. It's a bright and sunny day outside. The villagers, especially the women, are pretty hyped up. One of them shares how she saw Mia today. Her friend is excited because from what she heard, Mia has already been offered a position as court alchemist. Even among the nobility, word on the street is that she's the most promising young noblewoman right now, and righteously so. Mia is considered a saint because she sacrificed herself to make potions after all. Little did they know, the actual Mia is just across the street and has overheard their conversation. Instead of feeling giddy or happy, our heroine isn't too keen on hearing all of that at all. Finally, Mia reaches the restaurant where Alice is already waiting. The latter is puzzled. Why is her friend so tired? Is Mia that hungry? From the looks of it, our girl is barely holding on, as she finally removes her cap, moaning about how this place is the oasis of her weary heart. Ah, Alice gets it now. The whole town is still talking about Mia, no? Our girl slumps over the table complaining about how it's been 2 weeks since the incident in the Eastern Forest, and yet the rumors haven't died down about her at all. What's even worse is that the medicinal herb shortage is still ongoing. Alice pities her friend, seeing how Mia's had it rough. Heck, even going out for lunch is such a hassle for her. If y'all remember, students from the Magic Academy were attacked in the Eastern Forest, aka the monster breeding incident. Fortunately, the situation has been resolved, and the town has returned to its peaceful daily life. Even so, the effects of what Zeal, her ex-fiancé, did, buying up all the medicinal herbs, remain, as such requests for potion making have decreased, so now Mia is intensively training her formation skill. But ever since that incident, the moment she steps outside, she hears exaggerated rumors about herself. Mia may feel distressed about all this, but for Alice, who is her best friend, she feels proud. The former continues to say that she doesn't have anywhere she can relax anymore. Plus, it affects her family's reputation, so she can't just brush people off either. Just the other day, she forced so many smiles her face almost cramped. Oh, now Alice understands why her best friend got a hat for disguises. And you know what else? Even when Mia tries to relax at home, higher-ranking nobles have started bringing along their prized sons with their parents to boot. Mia's father is reluctant about her marriage because of the broken engagement, so Mia thinks he probably won't arrange anything without asking her first. Marriage-wise, our heroine doesn't even want to talk about it for a while. At that, Alice asks if she's still pretty hung up on her ex, until, honestly speaking, Mia has had more than enough. She feels like she has already experienced every bad thing about marriage. Well, now that she said it, Alice does remember Zeal for being quite a piece of work. Mia goes on to say how a noble's marriage is a contract that binds them for life, so she just wants to enjoy alchemy freely for a while. Alice's father appears and overhears what Mia just said. He even offers Mia a room in their establishment if she can relax here. But more important than that, their hamburger steak lunch is ready. Yay, time to eat! As soon as Alice's dad leaves, she tells Mia that there's actually someone perfect for her friend nearby. Mia doesn't have a clue what she's talking about, and Alice tells her off for feigning ignorance. Of course, it's none other than Crane himself. Duh! He and Mia get along so well, and they have a promising future. Plus, he obviously cares about her too. Alice lets the romantic in her take over, talking about how this has to be the guidance of the god of fate. She believes the feeling is mutual. So Crane Augusta, huh? He holds the title of becoming the youngest court alchemist, and of course he is Mia's employer. Since Crane has fewer requests at the moment and has some free time, he is researching how to make potions from low-quality materials. In between, he helps her with his formation skill. Anyway, Mia clarifies that there's nothing going on between Crane and her. Alice finds that hard to believe. She remembers when the Adventurers Guild tried to recruit Mia, what he said to them sounded like a love confession. But Mia insists there's really nothing more between them. As far as she knows, Crane is sincere, so he was only doing the honorable thing. Sad to say, Alice won't get the kind of story she wants. With that, Mia takes a bite of her hamburger steak and relishes it. Alice's father's hamburger steak is really delicious. The sweetness of the onions makes it easy to eat, and the red wine sauce has such rich flavor. Alice can't believe her friend wasn't Mia just down and exhausted a moment ago. It's rare to see someone get this excited over a hamburger steak. To that, Mia says food has tasted especially good lately. Maybe it's because her life feels so fulfilling, no? The broken engagement has been settled too. Alice doesn't want a review of the hamburger steak. She wants to hear more about Crane. Wait, speaking of Crane, Mia just remembered something. Alice sits up, excited to hear all about it. What is it? She asks with so much gusto. Actually, Mia needs to stop by the Alchemist Guild before returning to work. Apparently, there's some extra income waiting for her. Alice is deflated. So hamburger steak and money over Crane, huh? It looks like her friend prefers substance over romance. But Mia, who was too busy with her food, didn't quite catch what her friend had to say. After eating her meal, Mia leaves the restaurant and makes her way to the Alchemist's Guild. She vividly remembers what Crane told her earlier, that it's okay if she's late for the afternoon's work, urging her to stop by the Alchemist's Guild. From what he heard, the reward for the emergency request during the monster breeding incident is ready, and it seems they cannot hand it over unless Mia goes in person. Well, say no more. Mia is already on the way. Mia is so happy because a lot of good things are happening to her lately. There's the delicious meal that cheered her up earlier, and now there's another reward, extra income. What a wonderful phrase. She deserves it for sure because she worked until she had no mana left after all. But wait, what if it's an enormous amount? Soon enough, she finds herself in front of the guild. As she sits sipping tea at the waiting area, Vanessa arrives. The latter apologizes for making Mia wait, while our girl commends Vanessa for a good job today. As she settles in her seat, Vanessa apologizes again for making Mia come all the way here. With that, she puts a small bag of coins on the table, saying that's the reward for the emergency request. Yay! Mia is even more excited. So this is the weight of extra income. She picks it up and the extra weight sure does feel light, huh? Once she opens it, surely there will be valuable platinum coins inside. She pours the contents, and well, that's disappointing. There are only a few gold coins and some silver coins. That's not much at all. Mia is smiling, but anyone can see the disappointment painted on her face. Vanessa goes ahead and explains why Mia is paid such. For one, they don't know the proper value of the potion our heroine made. So the guild bought it for the same price as a normal potion, including the emergency request reward. Oh, is that so? Mia really can't mask the disappointment in her voice, though she did thank Vanessa. Now that Vanessa mentions it, there is no one who can properly assess the value of the X potion Mia delivered. The only one who knows about it is Lady, but she is not part of the Alchemist's Guild either. In that case, it makes sense to determine the reward based on the ingredients used, but the X potion was made from low-quality medicinal herbs, so no matter how good the potion was, it wouldn't be worth much. Vanessa gives her a sympathetic smile. She understands that the payment seems rather low for such a major emergency request. Mia tries to tell her that's not the case at all and laughs it off. Vanessa says she doesn't have to hide it, everything shows on Mia's face after all. It's quite amusing, really. Even Crane said that about her too. How can Mia not feel disappointed? It was such a major incident that even His Majesty held a celebration for them, so she believes it's only natural that she got her hopes up about the reward. Since Vanessa already knows, Mia admits that she was excitedly wondering what she'd do if the reward was too heavy to carry home. The latter finds Mia cute, thinking so innocently like that. If the reward were going to be that large, then Mia would have been informed beforehand. Honestly, Vanessa said they originally planned to give Mia more, but she is in a rather delicate position. Huh? Is it because our heroine is an apprentice alchemist? Vanessa says that's not the issue at all, rather Mia's situation is the unusual one. For one, she was suddenly chosen as a court alchemist's assistant. Then she already has numerous contracts despite being an apprentice. And lastly, her ex-fiancé caused the medicinal herb shortage. Though the last one isn't Mia's fault at all. With all things considered, the guild concluded that if she received a large sum, it could provoke jealousy and resentment from those around her. Thus, this became the result of the guild's discussion. Obviously, the amount of the reward won't be made public, but Vanessa does find it strange that things have remained peaceful. Now that she mentioned it, Mia's wondering about that too. As a daughter of a viscount, she ranks rather low among the nobility. Normally, Mia would receive far more spiteful remarks. But in that regard, she thinks people simply pity her. She is, after all, the girl who was the last to know her fiancé was cheating on her. Vanessa chuckles at that. It seems the circumstances surrounding Mia's broken engagement are working in her favor. In that case, then they should be able to increase her reward money. Vanessa was about to go and fetch the safe, were it not for Mia telling her not to do so. Seriously, she could end up getting scolded too. Vanessa suggests that she'll just sweet-talk the guildmaster, but it's still a hard no from Mia. Speaking of Vanessa, she's usually always joking around like this, but during the monster breeding incident she acted seriously and responsibly. Because of that, Mia had revised her opinion and realized Vanessa truly was the guild's deputy master. Anyway, Vanessa still thinks that it's strange for Mia to only receive this much, so she'll reward our heroine instead. She asks Mia if she could close her eyes for a bit, but that just makes our heroine wary. Vanessa's not going to make her sign a strange contract while her eyes are closed now, is she? Vanessa laughs at that. She'll never do such an awful thing. Mia points out that she does have a record of doing so. Okay, fine. The older woman promises that it will be fine this time. Seriously, it isn't anything bad. So after much hesitation, Mia finally closes her eyes. She hears something click, and only then does Vanessa tell her she could open them now. Mia looks down to see a crescent moon pendant on her chest. Oh, this is the one Vanessa always wears. The latter says it's a necklace she made when she was still an alchemist. Upon closer inspection, Mia noticed it's enveloped in white mana. This sensation is different from both compounding and formation. This item has been enchanted, hasn't it? Even an apprentice like Mia could tell that this is an excellent item. Wait a minute, could this be a magic artifact? Too bad Vanessa says it is not a magic artifact. Magic artifacts are powerful and expensive equipment imbued with magic through the enchantment skill. According to Vanessa, this was the limit of her ability, but she promises it has the power to ward off evil. It's hard to tell whether Mia is lucky or not, so she urges the latter to just keep it as a good luck charm. Mia finds that reasoning a little upsetting. Though now that she thinks about it, she would like to ward off bad marriage proposals. Still, is Vanessa really sure she can have this? The mana is intertwined so beautifully, Mia can tell it has been enchanted with incredible delicacy. Isn't this necklace precious to Vanessa? The latter remains smiling, and she's pleased that Mia can really perceive the flow of mana. Seriously, there's no need for her to hold back. Personally, Vanessa simply thought she wanted to entrust it to Mia. Huh? Entrust it? At that, Vanessa backpedals, saying she no longer needs it now that she's retired. Besides, it's not money, so it should be more than enough as a special reward for Mia, right? Mia clutches it in her hand and thanks the latter for it. As she does, she feels like she's being wrapped in something warm. So enchantment can create items like this, huh? She wants to try making one too. Alright, for her next goal, Mia has decided that she will learn enchantment, even if she has never tried it before. Well, if it's her, Vanessa thinks Mia can do it. Now that has been decided, our heroine intends to finish her afternoon formation assignment quickly and ask Crane to teach her. Vanessa remains smiling as she cheers on this hopeful apprentice alchemist while still looking at her former necklace. Today there's a new face in the city. A young man wearing a metal brace on his arm plans to visit Lady Babril's shop to purchase materials. Suddenly he stops in the middle of the street, shaking, alarming the people around him. This boy is feeling so nervous. Meanwhile, at Crane's office, Mia clocks in with a good morning. Crane returns the greeting and immediately apologizes for what he's about to ask. He wants her to check if the prototype is any closer to the X potion they made. Mia says he will, so he puts her hair up in a ponytail, puts on her apron, and gets to work. She walks back to the workroom and Crane asks her to take a look at the samples. One contains a higher amount of restorative components, but it still hasn't become an X potion. However, because it contains plenty of mana, he thinks it's more useful than an ordinary potion. Normally, it wouldn't be proper to speak this frankly to Crane, a Marquis' son. But when it comes to alchemy, Mia thinks it's better to tell him the truth without being overly considerate, and he seems to prefer it that way too. So she tells it to him as it is. After hearing her part, Crane expected this much. It seems an X potion cannot be made unless the compounding and formation domains are deployed simultaneously. They must transform into a special domain when deployed at the same time. According to Lady, X potions are made through sacred alchemy, that's what she said, right? During the monster breeding incident, Mia learned that Lady Babril, the wholesaler, was a practitioner of an alchemy known as the Devil's Domain. She gave Mia advice on making an X potion, but dang, the old woman herself refuses to explain the important details. Both Mia and Crane can't do anything about that, especially since Lady always dodges the question. If Mia knows any better, Lady probably thinks it's more entertaining to keep quiet. Oh, that's for sure. Crane only hopes the old lady isn't plotting something. Alchemical techniques are generally not taught to anyone outside one's family or disciples, so they cannot force Lady to tell them. However, Mia also seems to have left a bad impression on Lady when she ignored her and forced herself to make an X potion. Anyway, for now, Crane says all they can do is continue researching X potions. It should also be useful research for building up their potion reserves. Mia points out that they still haven't heard anything about the medicinal herb shortage in the capital being resolved, and she's right. For now, the knights are keeping watch around the capital, but if another abnormal incident occurs, Crane can't allow the burden to fall on Mia again. That remark made her pause and look at him. What Alice told her earlier comes rushing back to her, about how Crane has a promising future and that he also cares about Mia. I mean, yeah, it's true that he cares for Mia, but she thinks that's only because he sees her as a fellow alchemist. She can understand Alice getting the wrong idea, but even Vanessa and her former fiancé misunderstood. It just makes her wonder what Crane is thinking right now. Ugh, it's not as though Alice put the idea in her head. Anyway, she apologetically interrupts Crane, but she asks if it's okay to ask a question unrelated to alchemy. He tells her to go for it. So she's curious, does he not have any plans to marry? From what she recalls, he isn't engaged either. To that, the latter simply states that he's not interested. Admittedly, his parents have been pestering him about it, but he ignores them. Well, Mia is not really the best person to say this, but with the matter of an heir, isn't it hard for him to keep postponing it? Crane says it's not a problem for his family since he intends to leave all of that to his younger brother. Oh, Mia doesn't know he has a younger brother at all. Crane goes on to say how he has two younger siblings, a brother and a sister. They're much younger, so Mia may not have had the chance to meet them at social gatherings. Unlike Crane, who spends his free time practicing alchemy, his brother is diligent and studies in preparation to become the heir. With a sad smile, he even says that both his brother and sister are gentle and kind, unlike him. Mia thinks he's kind too. Upon saying that, something sparked in Crane's hand. That was not supposed to happen at all, and even Mia comments on how it's rare for him to make a mistake. Crane, with flushed cheeks, blames it all on Mia. It's because she distracted him. Oh, an embarrassed Crane. Hey, what's this? Normally he wouldn't be shaken just because she spoke to him. He denies this, stressing that he was not shaken, but sure, fine, Mia believes that, whatever helps him sleep at night. But wait, what is this feeling? Crane is hailed as a genius, but maybe he's not used to being praised for his personality. Could it be that it causes people to mistake it for a romantic relationship just because they were simply alone together in the workshop given his usual solo work time? It is pretty rare to see Crane embarrassed after all. Yeah, that must be it. They've spent this much time alone together in the workshop and things have never felt strange between them. Honestly, everyone loves gossip way too much, but Mia has it all figured out. Spoiler alert, she doesn't. Crane finally notices the necklace she's wearing. Where did she get it? Mia starts snickering because he finally noticed it. She relays that the item was given to him by Vanessa when she stopped by the Alchemist's Guild, but to her surprise, Crane became sullen, muttering about how Vanessa finally let it go. His reaction caught Mia off guard, so naturally she asks if it was something she shouldn't have accepted so casually. No. Crane assures her that Vanessa made the choice herself, so it isn't his place to say anything. It's just that it made him realize she truly has no intention of returning to Alchemy. Wait, now that Mia thinks of it, Vanessa did tell her back then that she wanted to entrust the necklace to our girl. And then Crane finally drops the lore behind the necklace. That necklace Mia is wearing is valuable enough to build a large mansion in the finest district of the royal capital. Oh, is that so? 3, 2, 1. And Mia freaks out. What? Full disclosure, Crane is dead serious too. Wait, Mia still can't wrap her head around what he said. This necklace is valuable enough to buy a mansion in the royal capital? Then why would Vanessa give it to her? But more importantly, Mia wants to know if Vanessa was really that incredible of an alchemist. Instead of answering her directly, Crane points out that their mutual friend can behave as freely as she likes without reprimand, and that she was entrusted with the position of deputy master of the Alchemist's Guild. It has been years since Vanessa retired, but she's probably still among the very best in magic artifact research. Even compared with other A-rank alchemists, Crane says the former stood far above them. Holy crap, Mia didn't know Vanessa was that amazing. Like, yeah, she heard that Vanessa was formerly A-rank, but as far as Crane knows, only one active alchemist can rival her skill. Even now, many people hope she will return. Oh man, so does that mean this necklace Mia is wearing is a premium item of the highest quality? As if he read her mind, Crane continues that the necklace may be equal in value to something owned by His Majesty the King, or perhaps even more. All Mia could think of is what Vanessa told her about the item, how it should be enough as a reward. Like, girl, this is way too generous of a reward. Now that Mia has a full grasp of how valuable the necklace is, she is ready to walk out the door and return it right this instant. But Crane stops her. It's too late. The moment Vanessa gave that necklace up, she must have decided with finality, oh crap, so where does that lead Mia? What should she do? She thought she had escaped the collar known as an engagement, and she was given a necklace of unimaginable value. Oh, but wait a tick. If someone as incredible as Vanessa entrusted it to her, then maybe Mia has no choice but to accept this amazing item, right? That's it, she just needs a new perspective. She turns to Crane, hesitation now obvious on her face. Well, now she can't help it that the necklace is hers now, right? It can't be helped. Vanessa went through the trouble of giving it to her after all. From how she's acting, Crane can sense a somewhat impure motive, but even he won't deny her reasoning. Okay, full disclosure. For the sake of Mia's honor, she will say this though, she only wants to use the necklace as a reference because her next goal is to learn the enchantment skill. It's not as though she has no ulterior motive at all. Wait, Mia wants to learn enchantment now? She had just acquired the formation skill. Normally it would be better to avoid learning anything new until that skill stabilizes, but since Vanessa gave her that necklace, well, Crane can't be too sure anymore. While Mia is motivated, maybe she should try learning enchantment too. Oh. Since Crane is on board, Mia uses this chance to ask if she could buy the necessary materials from Lady's shop. He doesn't mind, but he warns her that his proficiency isn't high enough to teach her enchantment, and if it starts interfering with her duties, well, Mia cuts him off. She tells him that the potion deadline has been postponed because of the medicinal herb shortage. Plus, she'll properly fulfill her role as his advisor too, so it will be fine. With that, she bolts off straight to Lady's shop. Looking at her like this, Mia really does look happy, no? Mia reached Lady Babril's shop in no time at all. But from the entrance, she could see that Lady has a customer for once. What a surprise, and it's a boy. Mia overhears the elder lady tell the boy that his enchantments have finally started becoming somewhat decent. The boy beams brighter than the sun, thanking Lady Babril. He couldn't even believe she would say something like that. At that, Lady Babril clarifies that she's not praising him, she only said that they were somewhat decent. Still, the boy's spirit does not dampen. He's all giddy, knowing there are still many things he needs to improve on. With this bracelet, the output becomes excessive in proportion to the amount of mana consumed. Meanwhile, Mia is still listening to them and she swore she could see a tail from that boy's bum. What's even more shocking is that someone is asking the old woman for advice. Shockingly enough, Lady continued advising the boy, saying he shouldn't waste his time worrying over something so trivial. If he wants her to say any more, then he'll have to bring some tea and sweets. The boy promises to bring some next time. Since Mia is so used to Lady's antics, she knows that in the old woman's language that means, I want to chat leisurely over tea and sweets. Maybe this boy is one of Lady's favorites, but apart from that, Mia is curious about the boy's bracelet. Could it be a magic artifact? Just then, she is reminded that it's not good to eavesdrop. The boy wraps up his transaction with Lady. He then attaches the bracelet to his arm and easily carries the crate full of items. Mia is dumbstruck. The boy carries it as if it were nothing, and when she finally came to, Mia immediately asked Lady if the bracelet the boy was wearing was a magic artifact. Lady Babberel laughs, so Mia was listening. Well, the old woman says she can't call something like that a magic artifact. It's an imitation, but still, Mia is impressed at how it showed such incredible power. If it couldn't do at least that much, Lady says it wouldn't even qualify as an imitation. Well, you could call it a makeshift bracelet of power. Mia is stunned. Even with that much power, it's only an imitation, but then again, it's true. Even Vanessa's necklace can't be called a magic artifact. The standard for something to be called a magic artifact may be unbelievably high. Still, even if it's only an imitation, what if Mia could obtain that much power? If there's a sudden attacker, then she can easily send him flying. From there, she's sure word will spread that she has monstrous strength, and that will deter her suitors from pursuing and wooing her hand in marriage. Not exactly what we had in mind, but this is Mia's line of thought. Mia went ahead and thought that if she were to marry with that monstrous strength, no one would dare do something as foolish as cheat on her, hypothetically speaking. If her lower rank means she's likely to be placed at a disadvantage, then yes, she simply needs to surpass them in physical strength. Now that she remembers it, Alice once told her that among commoners there are sayings like, strength is power, muscles never betray you. Yes, the bracelet of power. Mia has made up her mind, she wants one. Even Lady is happy to see her all pumped up like this. Mia wants it, the bracelet of power. Oh-ho, what's this? Lady Babberel is surprised to see our heroine interested in magic artifacts too. To be fair, Mia says she only just became interested in them recently. That made the old woman chuckle. That's wonderful. It may still be a little early, but Lady has high hopes for her. Oh no, the pressure of expectation, that made Mia stop. And here she was, coming here full of enthusiasm. Wait a minute, Lady said, for you too, which means the boy from earlier really is one of Lady Babberel's favorites. Anyway, Mia tells the old woman not to expect too much from her. She only plans to begin practicing enchantment today, which explains why she's here at the shop, to buy materials. Too bad for Mia. Lady says the worthwhile enchantment materials were just all bought up. Since Mia is only starting, expensive materials would be wasted on her. She'll just practice with inexpensive ones, rummaging through the items on display. Oh here! Something with as clean a magic stone core as possible and plenty of mana. Suddenly Mia feels something from behind and there's Lady approaching her, holding something in her arms. Without warning, the old woman dumps her specially recommended monster material set. Ugh, this damn old woman, she just wants attention, doesn't she? Mia couldn't take it and told Lady off. If she keeps doing business like that, someone will resent her one day. Money can turn people into someone else entirely, you know, and please would she stop pointlessly offering overpriced sets? Hee, Lady Babberel is obviously enjoying the attention. She has already earned mountains of resentment, and the only reason Mia can say such things anyway is that she was born in peaceful times. Lady adds that people who truly bear a grudge come after you without a word, with poison smeared on their knives. Oh, that's right. Mia just remembered that this old woman is a practitioner of sacred alchemy and has even lived through war. It wouldn't be strange if she had learned countless grudges from enemy nations, but then again, maybe she uses her outrageous prices to test whether her customers are assassins. Oh, what's this? It looks like Lady has a beautiful magic stone left unsold here. But can she stop hiding the cracked side of that stone? You know what, maybe Mia is overthinking it. Anyway, she asks the old woman if she really was a famous alchemist. Bah, what did Mia think she was until now? She points out how our heroine claims to love alchemy and yet her knowledge is still so shallow. If she doesn't study more, Lady warns that she'll embarrass herself badly someday. This old woman has a point. What she said is true after all. Despite being a court alchemist assistant, there is still a lot Mia doesn't know, such as basic alchemical knowledge and the names of famous alchemists. She spent all her time working at the Adventurers Guild, and zeal never taught her either. She wants to study so it won't interfere with her duties, but she can't rely on the busy crane for every little piece of knowledge. Mia then turns to Lady, who was already looking at her expectantly. Ultimately, Mia asks the old woman if she could teach her some basic alchemical knowledge, even if it's only while she's choosing her items. Lady has been waiting for this. She grabs her chair, calling Mia a hopeless child, and yet she's the excited one here. Okay, first things first, Mia wants to confirm the basics. The lamps and stoves used in homes are magic tools imbued with mana through alchemy, correct? Lady says that's common knowledge, explaining that formation changes the shape of wood and minerals. Enchantment, on the other hand, transfers magical power from magic stones or monster materials to create magic tools. Nowadays, you can just buy them in just about any town. They've become indispensable to everyday life. Ooh, Mia heard that many alchemists who make a living with the formation skill produce daily necessities like those. Because alchemists can do such a wide variety of things, some choose their specialty based not only on their skills but also on what they create. Daily necessities, huh? Lady asks her this. Does Mia think they're merely making household goods? If you increase a lamp's output, it can be used as a flash bomb to blind someone. Heck, a stove can even be turned into a bomb. There are plenty of people making illicit deals behind the scenes like that. With that said, Lady says it all boils down to the person using them. If someone submits a request under the pretext of exterminating monsters, it's usually approved without trouble and someone will make it. Even the potions Mia makes can be used for evil. At that, she asks Lady not to say frightening things. Besides, she only supplies reputable clients whom the old woman calls far too idealistic. In every age, alchemy has been involved in matters of life and death. The same goes for the magic artifacts Mia was interested in earlier. A magic tool that grants monstrous strength is the most obvious example. Oh, Mia never thought of it that way. Somehow she's starting to think she doesn't need to make magic artifacts at all. As Lady said, it depends on the person using them. If Mia worries about every little thing, then she'll never accomplish anything. She's only an apprentice, and yet she intends to be picky with her work. Is that it? If Mia could do her work, then she'd like to focus on the things she wants to do. Though somehow, she's always busy. In her mind, she'd be satisfied simply enjoying alchemy at her own pace. She has no ambition to become a court alchemist or leave her name in history. Mia only wanted a magic artifact to avoid strange marriage proposals, but if something she makes could hurt anyone, then there's no need to force herself to try to make magic artifacts. Oh, Lady Babriel calls that a waste. After all, there are things in this world like rings that let you fly through the sky. Wait, hold that thought. Now she has Mia's attention again. Lady goes on, talking about magic pouches that create another space and hold far more than their appearance suggests. Or necklaces of exorcism that prevent every kind of status ailment are useful too. What else? Oh, they could even detoxify you if you eat something. And with those few examples, Mia is fired up about magic artifacts again. She asks Lady how to make those kinds of magic artifacts. The old woman tells her to figure it out herself. She's not going to make it easy for our heroine. This old woman really got her excited only to leave her hanging. Just then, Lady asks where Mia got her necklace from. The latter says an acquaintance gave it to her. It's beautiful, right? Lady is surprised before she bursts out laughing. Mia truly received a fine necklace, eh? Wait, Mia is in disbelief. Lady Babriel actually praised something without hesitation. She's really not that twisted. Lady always says exactly what she feels, no offense to her, but Mia thinks Lady may be one of the most twisted people in the world. Lady gets up and starts rummaging for something. She hands a letter to Mia saying she should go with that Augusta boy. Mia opens it as the old woman explains that it's an invitation to a bracelet of power trial, of which the venue is. Well, she didn't get to finish because Mia blurted it out loud. The royal castle's knights' training grounds. Wait, she didn't know the bracelet of power was so important that it was enough for the kingdom to be involved. Oh, so the creator of that bracelet is the boy from earlier, no? Lady says that boy is a court alchemist assistant just like Mia. So, if she wants to become involved with magic artifacts, Lady says it won't hurt to know him. She should go see more of the real world and broaden her understanding of alchemy, but Mia had to ask if Lady was sure about this, especially since the invitation was addressed to her. The latter answers that she doesn't mind. Sure, she accepted it, but she hasn't the slightest intention of going. This makes Mia smile. This old woman, despite everything, she really does look out for her, and she's grateful for it. Though what matters most to her is whether something looks entertaining, so Mia's a little afraid something might happen. Anyway, since Lady is giving her permission, she'll gratefully accept her offer. That's right. Lady reiterates that when someone shows you kindness, you should accept it honestly like that. Mia has learned a lot since the X-Potion incident, no? At Lady's instructions, Mia goes to the Royal Castle Knights training grounds. The place is lively as ever, and training has already begun. Of course, Crane is with her too. Looking at the place makes her feel nostalgic. Around the time her father retired as a knight and became an instructor, their family once visited the Knights training ground. Back then, little Mia was overwhelmed by the intensity of the training and spent the whole time frightened. Her father looked like a true demon as he instructed them sternly. Just then she sees one of the knights struggling, then he hears her father call the knight by his name Michael, telling the latter that it's still too soon for him to wear armor. Mia's father advises him to build up his stamina first to withstand the training. The latter agrees, scared of the older man. Looking at them from where she's standing, yup, her father's still scary as ever. Even so, he was much harsher in the past, so perhaps he has mellowed out now. Mia then focuses her attention on two knights, with one of them wearing the bracelet of power. The bigger man goes for the attack while the smaller one defends, and yet, it's the smaller one who managed to push back his opponent. Amazing. Even though there's such a large difference in their builds, there doesn't seem to be any difference in strength. Mia beams as she gleefully proclaims how amazing Alchemy is. Unlike her, Crane's not that enthusiastic. He had to remind her that this is not a field trip, so it's best to try not to get excited. Instead of going along with him, Mia tells him not to treat her like a child. After all, you rarely get to see such a large-scale trial conducted with the Knights' cooperation. Although what she said is true, Crane points out that events like this where alchemists from several workshops gather tend to cause trouble, so yeah, he's not particularly excited about that. Well, if he's that worried about that, Mia assures him that her father is here. If something happens, he'll deal with it. More importantly, the bracelets of power. She tells Crane that they should look at it more closely. At the mention of the item, Crane hesitates since that item is, and there goes their interruption. The boy from before loudly calls out to Crane. While the boy is excited, Crane can only facepalm and look exasperated. So, the one who created the bracelets of power was this boy Leon. The boy wholeheartedly tells Crane that his dream is to create a true magic artifact, but the latter's not too impressed as he points out that the bracelets still don't possess enough power to be called magic artifacts. But if they're developed enough to be adopted by the knights, then it looks like Leon is making steady progress, and there it is again, the tail wagging behind Leon. Mia could see it. Hearing all that made Leon all excited. But wait, what is this feeling Mia is having? She narrows her eyes at the two and notices that they look more like master and disciple than she and Crane do. Crane and she should be the ones with that kind of atmosphere. But since she's in a strange position of being both Crane's assistant and advisor, the reality is that they're closer to equals than master and disciple. Like, every day she, the assistant, checks what her master made. Crane then notices Mia staring at him, so our girl quickly casts those thoughts aside. This is their first meeting, so she needs to behave properly. She curtsies as Crane motions to Mia, introducing her to Leon as his assistant, adding that she also works as an apprentice alchemist. Mia puts on her best behavior, saying she's pleased to meet Leon, introducing herself as she does so. Upon hearing the name Hobril, Leon is shocked and wipes both his hands on his clothes. Like her, he puts on his best behavior while Crane does his introductions. According to Crane, Leon is an assistant to another court alchemist and he's more experienced in alchemy than his appearance suggests. Leon shyly says enchantment is technically his specialty, only technically though. The two assistants smile at each other. But Mia remembers this boy speaking so fluently with Lady Babberel yesterday. Could it be that he's shy around strangers? He doesn't seem accustomed to dealing with nobles either, so maybe he's a commoner. Suddenly, another voice cuts in, telling Leon that this is exactly why people look down on him. Crane looks in the direction of the voice, muttering about how if Leon is here, then he knew he would be here. Leon apologizes to this man he called Lord Zeiglis. An older-looking man with long black hair tied in a ponytail scowls at Crane, and Mia has no idea who that is. Zeiglis crosses his arms, telling Leon this is exactly why people look down on him. The boy tries to reason it out, but his employer cuts him off immediately. Leon shouldn't make excuses. Didn't he teach Leon that an alchemist without confidence is third-rate? Leon can only apologize to Zeiglis, with Mia thinking how this guy speaks so harshly. From their conversation alone, she deduces Leon and this man have a master-disciple relationship. That means he must be a court alchemist. But the thing is, Mia has no idea who he is. Oh no, the old woman's warning has already come true about her lacking knowledge and embarrassing herself. Mia turns to Crane asking who that guy is, but too bad for her, Zeiglis caught that. He glares at her, then huffs, telling Crane how he has an incompetent assistant. Crane defends Mia and, if anything, shifts the blame on Zeiglis, saying he must be an alchemist Mia did not consider worth knowing. Neither Mia nor Zeiglis expected that while the two court alchemists would have a stare-down. Mia is a little too stunned because Crane is actually provoking the man. But because of that, the latter introduces himself with so much contempt. He is Zeiglis Warren, and he's been granted the rank of Baron. It's been 10 years since he became a court alchemist through his enchantment skill. Mia only smiles respectfully, but in her head she thinks, thank you for the thorough introduction, but Zeiglis didn't stop there. He told Mia that she shouldn't get carried away just because she has attracted a little attention now. Whoops, well, he knows her. Being the keeper of peace, Mia just smiles through it and says she'll be careful from now on. On the downside, this is what Lady was talking about. Now, even Mia's lack of knowledge has caused trouble for Crane too. But Crane isn't mad at her at all. In fact, he says there's no harm done if she doesn't know who this man is, so she shouldn't worry about it. If she gets the chance to meet him again, she'll remember his face and name whether she likes it or not. Whoa, 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 why is Crane acting so passive-aggressive this whole time? Could it be the reason why Crane was so reluctant to attend this trial is because of Zyglis? The Warren family is not a name Mia recognizes, so he was probably a commoner who was elevated to the nobility, no? Most likely, for his achievements in alchemy, Zyglis mutters under his breath, almost damning Mia for not even recognizing a court alchemist. But instead of directing it to her, he throws it to Crane's face instead. Zyglis tells the younger alchemist off for having an assistant whose ignorance knows no bounds, but Crane claps back that the older man hasn't achieved anything significant in recent years. It's only natural for a young alchemist not to know Zyglis. This time both men go into a full argument with raised voices. Zyglis argues that if Crane's logic is correct, then he will be forgotten as well. If curing the princess's illness with a potion is his only accomplishment, then he's practically unknown himself. Well, that doesn't mean crap to Crane coming from a man who needed 10 years as a court alchemist just to stand alongside Vanessa. Speaking of Vanessa, Zyglis points out that Crane yet again failed to reach Vanessa's prestige. Doesn't that make him the unknown one? Mia is too shocked at such a display of animosity, and what's more, even Zyglis questions why Crane was here in the first place. This is no place for fools like him. Now that pissed Mia off. She understands Zyglis insulting an apprentice like her, but to even do that to Crane? There's a limit to how rude someone can be, but you know what Crane said to the older alchemist? He said that there are very few court alchemists capable of holding a normal conversation. He mentioned that to Mia before, right? After all, most of them are consumed by their own selfish desires. A loud silence fell before them, before they resumed bickering. This time Zyglis attacks Crane's status. According to him, a pampered young master who once wandered around at a low rank certainly has the luxury of remaining lost in his dreams forever, no? Well, Crane doesn't want to hear that from a greedy man. After 10 years as a court alchemist, is the rank of Baron not enough to satisfy him? While they were busy quarreling, both of their assistants stood side by side. Mia asks if those two don't get along, and Leon clarifies that they actually despise each other. So there's no twist where they're good friends, huh? And Leon confirms that there's not. Settling Zyglis aside, Mia's surprised to see Crane lose his composure so much. Why do those two even hate each other so intensely? Anyway, Leon is curious why Mia and Crane are here. From what he remembers, they didn't send any invitation to those two. She tells him that it was Lady Babberel who told her to attend as her representative, and she invited Crane along. Mia shows him the invitation initially addressed to Lady, but Leon is confused. Mia is Lady Babberel's representative and not Crane? To that, Mia says the old woman told her to broaden her knowledge of alchemy. Oh ho, Leon is impressed to know that Mia is also recognized by the great Lady Babberel. Now he understands why those rumors have been spreading. Oh no, there it is again, expectations. Mia feels like everyone expects far too much of her. Mia shifts the attention to him. Wasn't Leon also recognized by the old woman? Leon is shocked to hear that, and how did Mia know about that? Our heroine details how she happened to be there when she went shopping at the old woman's store, and she also shares how Leon seems to have created a wonderful bracelet. The boy feels shy, saying it's not that impressive and that it was just a coincidence on his part, really. Just then, Zyglis's voice rings loud, rallying that they should focus on developing magic artifacts. Alchemy exists to protect human lives. Crane doesn't agree, that's just idealism. Zyglis takes offense at that, as he tells the younger man that he fails to understand that the true threat is not monsters but humans. Alchemy only gains value when it creates power capable of deterring war. Looking at them like this, Mia can't help but wonder if these two share what people call an inseparable, ill-fated bond. Leon shares how his master is usually much calmer than this. As much as that's difficult for Mia to imagine, she also shares that it's pretty rare to see Crane this agitated. Leon's not too sure how to put it, but he thinks this may partly be his fault. You see, Crane gave him advice about the Bracelet of Power several times. Whom? Hearing that got Mia puzzled, because wasn't this boy Zyglis's disciple? Are you guys arguing again? Another voice echoes across the hallway, and Mia turns to see that it's His Majesty. The king comments how those two have not changed at all. Both Zyglis and Crane stand at attention with their fists on their chests. Whoa, their argument stopped. Moreover, Mia can't believe His Majesty came here. The king first turns to Zyglis, asking about the progress of the Bracelet of Power. The older alchemist explains that there are still issues with controlling it judging by the movements of the knights using it. However, he believes it is practical as a means of temporarily granting strength. Mia shifts her attention to the training grounds where 2 knights were testing the bracelets. She noticed how the knights who used the item were out of breath. So does this mean the bracelet consumes a lot of mana? The king was also watching the knights. He noted how the bracelets appear to have reached a practical stage, but it's difficult to say. He decides they should postpone their assessment of the bracelets until they hear the opinions of the knights who use them. Zaglis balls his fist in frustration but does as the king suggested. Based on that, it looks like the bracelets still haven't been approved. But what Mia also noticed is that Leon's name was not even mentioned even though he created them, which ticked her off. Leon himself isn't saying anything either. Wait, could this be the norm? Does an assistant's achievement count as the achievement of their master, the court alchemist? Was Crane declining credit for the X potion actually highly unusual? Anyway, His Majesty also adds that it's also true that they can't afford to take their time. Now, he wants to know if Zaglis was able to investigate the barrier around the royal capital just like he asked. The latter answers that there are no abnormalities in the barrier at present. However, as a precaution, they are currently reapplying its enchantment. The king is pleased to hear that. In any case, if Zaglis notices any abnormalities, then the king urged the former to contact him immediately. Wait, barrier? Are they talking about the royal capital's barrier? Mia thinks that the one installed is to prevent monsters from entering, right? She heard it was erected when she was just a child. Leon whispers to her that the person who created the royal capital's barrier was actually his master, Lord Zaglis. Whoa, wait a second. Didn't Crane say before that there's only one active alchemist who can rival Vanessa's skill? Plus, achieving an accomplishment like that also explains why Zaglis was granted a barony, so he's the one alchemist who is said to stand alongside Vanessa. But back to His Majesty, the king turns his attention to Crane, saying he was just about to summon the latter regarding another matter. Crane warily asks what it is. Simply put, he doesn't have a good feeling about this. The king tells him not to say such things, after all it's something only he can do. To that, Crane declares that he has no intention of refusing, but he says he had only just pushed his assistant too hard during the monster breeding incident. He puts his arm up, showing a protective gesture over Mia. Honestly speaking, Crane would prefer to avoid dangerous assignments. The king turns to Mia, then backs away to the court alchemist. Even if he makes that request, this matter is directly related to that incident. His Majesty wants them to investigate the monster breeding that caused the incident. But Crane already heard that the knights were investigating the matter. Yes, that is correct, but the king adds that it has been hampered by the discovery of miasma across a wide area. Miasma is a substance whose details remain unknown but which is deeply connected to monsters. In areas where the miasma is dense, powerful monsters tend to appear and their breeding accelerates. The king decided that the task should be entrusted to Crane so that he could purify it as well. The latter accepts, saying he will begin creating miasma purification potions immediately, but for the investigation, he didn't have to say more. The king tells him that trustworthy knights will accompany him during the field investigation. After all, they don't know what may be waiting there. To that, Crane is thankful. Anyway, the king is counting on him, since they still do not fully understand the situation. He adds that information about this assignment mustn't be shared with anyone uninvolved, and if any problems arise, he expects the 2 court alchemists to cooperate, meaning Crane and Zaglis. As soon as His Majesty left, Mia approached Crane. She didn't know court alchemists also handle work like this. Crane says they sometimes do. In matters involving monsters, the knights investigate first. If the monsters themselves are the cause, then the knights deal with them by force. However, if miasma is discovered, it must be handled with purification potions. In such a case, court alchemists are often called in. Now that Mia remembers it, when she worked at the Adventurers Guild, Crane submitted several requests for escorts. They're supposedly for geological surveys, but perhaps they were assignments like this too. As he mentioned earlier, he doesn't want to push Mia, but the latter is already pumped up. This assignment could also be a good opportunity for her to learn investigative work. First, they will begin making the purification potions. As they were about to leave, Zaglis suddenly calls out to them. Wait, he tells the 2 that he has a proposal. Cut to the next panel. At Crane's workshop, he and Mia open the door to a certain someone, welcoming him in. This figure walks in respectfully and nervously looks around. It's Leon. Crane, for one, never expected Zaglis to send Leon over. According to the older alchemist, this is an abnormal situation in which monsters are breeding around the royal capital despite the barrier. If they don't provide manpower from their side as well, then there's no telling what those fools may complain about later. Remembering what he said also made Mia remember how much the former has such an unpleasant attitude. Crane agrees this is Zaglis' way of showing concern because he understands the gravity of the situation. At least the older alchemist's dedication to working for the kingdom is pretty admirable. Mia doesn't understand what that has to do with what they were going to do. Crane explains that the process of making purification potions also requires enchantment. If Leon helps them, then His Majesty's request should proceed smoothly. While Crane and Leon are talking, Mia thinks that if Crane says that, then Zeglis must take his responsibilities as a court alchemist seriously, even though both men argued so fiercely. Well, Zeglis must simply have a sharp tongue, but he's still an unpleasant person. Anyway, Crane says he doesn't want to owe Zeglis a favor, but it can't be helped. Mia feels the same even though she has just met the guy. Leon apologizes for the intrusion while also thanking them for welcoming him into their workshop. Crane says it's fine. Besides, there's also something he wants to ask of him. He wants Leon to assist alongside Mia. Mia smiles, saying he's looking forward to working with him, to which Leon says he feels the same.